Thank you to Face It for sponsoring this episode.
We go in there, watch like the last bit of Circuit Royale, and then we leave. And like as we're leaving, there's just like a ton of fans, like so many fans just like surround. It was like me, UV, Vision, and Admiral, and we just get surrounded. Like I've never seen that many people line up for like signatures and like photos. Like we had to get police escorted away from like all the fans because the event staff were freaking the out because like there are so many people trying to leave the venue and there's like hundreds of people surrounding like 4 white people and they don't know what the f- going on because they see it on like the security cameras.
Crazy Raccoon never lost to Toronto last year, but Toronto did beat ZETA and go to a grand final at a big international event. And I don't know if that's a comparable accomplishment. I don't know if that's better or worse, but they're not full Western. That was someone of merit, right? I think Toronto's I think making it to a grand final is a bigger accomplishment. Beating Crazy Raccoon in any context in a first to 3 with a full Western roster, that's a bigger accomplishment for the West. You know, like that's much more meaningful for the West. But then, you know, map 3 we won, and map 4 we had a lead for the entire series, and we had 3 ults versus 1 in the final fight, and we pissed it away. We could call it choked. Perhaps the lights are a little bit bright.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Is it time to bring in the choker narrative for SSG?
I think so.
What do you think?
You know,
spin it up.
All this talk about Nightmare being chokers. You know, we talk about the SSG choke.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 37 of Uncoachable. We have a returning guest today, a man who was good to his promises of his last episode. The guy who went from a birthday booth to beating Crazy Raccoon. cuFFa joins us to talk about China, the Hangzhou Major. Welcome back, cuFFa. Congratulations on the weekend as well. How was the experience in China?
Oh, there's nothing better than beating some Koreans, that's for sure. Yeah, we're good for our one. Yeah, it was pretty cool though. Like I think the event was like actually insane. Like the venue was insane. There's like so many fans that actually give a fuck. Like everything was insane.
You guys China pilled yet?
Oh, that might have been a bit of a radicalizing moment for a lot of us.
Eyes been open, eh?
Yeah.
Anything positive about China at the same, Max?
Hepatitis positive, if that counts.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I take all positive.
It's quite literally positive.
There's a reasonable chance that I'm positive for hepatitis now, and that's, you know, one big takeaway from China for me. So I guess I'll dig a bit deeper into that later in the episode. You know, when we get past some of the meat and potatoes of the episode.
When we're really struggling, we'll talk about hepatitis.
Yeah. Stay tuned for the hepatitis section. Always nice to have a souvenir though. Can we get some behind the scenes from your cuFFa? So what happens? You land in China from your boot camp in Korea. What's the sort of setup once you get there?
Did we do anything the first day? I don't think we did anything the first day. Like
we only had like
a photo shoot. Yeah, we did like some photo shoot and then packed it up for the day. Ate a bit of food. Next day we had like one or 2 scrims. Actually, no, I think the same night we got there, we scrimmed Falcons. We just like had a few last minute bookings with them, but
Oh yeah, you would have because we cancelled on them. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, we had like no scrims before we flew in, and then like Gultech would just like walk up to the Koreans and be like, let's fucking scrim. They're there, alright, and then we'd kick it on for 2 hours, and then go home.
That was it. Match day afterwards, like opening day of the tournament.
I think no, the 17th we did like another photo shoot, but like we had to go like off site to like some random place. It was actually really cool. It's like some fucking warehouse with like fancy lighting. Got my makeup done again. You know, I was feeling like a bit of a princess for that week. Makeup every day.
You're playing like a princess too, mate. Like, it's seriously inspirational.
Just passion everywhere. It's oozing out.
Passion princess.
Yeah.
How far was the hotel from the venue?
Oh, it was like
5-minute walk.
Yeah, 5-minute walk.
Oh, really? It was close.
It was crazy though.
Food-wise, did you get like a hotel breakfast or was it all at the venue?
Yeah, hotel breakfast, and then at the venue you'd eat lunch and dinner. I think the first night we had hotel dinner. It like wasn't that good. The food at the venue was actually pretty good though. Like they had a decent amount of options, but it was weird. Like you weren't really allowed to walk into the venue on like competition days, like you had to get the shuttle from the hotel to like underground behind the venue because the fans would just like swarm you if you went through the front entrance.
Did they swarm everyone or
No.
only the ones they knew?
I was walking through the front with a smile on my face. No,
You were okay?
I mean, it was basically like for our team, it was like if you were sugar free or Seeker, you were just fucked. Like you just didn't stand a chance. No, the crowd loved those two. Like absolutely loved those two. But anyone else, it was just like invisibility cloak. So no issues at all, to be honest. But we'd always like go everywhere together. So out of respect, we'd take the shuttle and pretend that the fans were interested in all of us.
Yeah. I guess it means they're not uncoachable heads, the Chinese fans. That's evidence.
We'll turn them over. We'll turn them around.
Yeah.
They're going to come around to Uncoachable eventually.
Were you spreading the word while you were out there?
Completely forgot that I host a podcast for the duration of the time that I was in China. I'll keep it $8 with you. Yeah. Just like on the topic of like the accommodation and stuff. I mean, like it was genuinely like insanely good. I know I was kind of taking the piss like beforehand, saying that I haven't actually seen this stadium exist. All I've seen is a series of 3D renders of the stadium. And I mean, last time I was in China for Overwatch, it was 2019, and we were in like a little theater that was actively being constructed while we were there. PPAs were rooms separated by curtains, and there was active construction taking place inside the PPAs with dudes just drilling in sandals in the room. But there was absolutely none of that here in Hangzhou. Like genuinely none of that. Like it was a completely developed, completely existing stadium, like no construction taking place at all on site. It was like this enormous stadium with huge capacity for crowd. I was told that the capacity for the crowd was 5,000 people and that it was sold out for every single day. That was a bold-faced lie. There's a 0% chance that was 5,000 people in that stadium because they'd filled it with like screens and audio set up, all sorts of other things that were padding out that capacity. So there's no way there was 5,000, but there was definitely a few thousand people in there, and the crowd was always full and always quite energetic, so it was really good in that regard. And I mean, we were staying at like a 5-star hotel, a stone's throw away from the venue. Like everything was so goddamn good about this event. Like genuinely, you would not want to have missed this event. Like if you were a North American team, you would not want to have missed this event under any circumstances because it was fucking awesome. Like really fucking awesome. Like you think you had a good time in Riyadh last year, or you had a good time going to some Overwatch League event in Hawaii or Dallas. Grow up. Nothing will ever come close to this Hangzhou Major. This was by far the best. I'm gonna keep it $8 with you. The only thing that I genuinely am sad about this event is that we didn't have enough time to spend there. Yeah. Like from the day we had boots on the ground to the day we left, we were just fucked busy like the entire time. Like we arrived at 1 p.m. We were not out of the airport until 3:30 because the Americans had to get these funny visas that took forever on site.
That shit was insane.
Straight to the hotel, straight to a photo shoot, straight to makeup. It's 7:30 at night. We've got a scrim with Falcons at that time. We still haven't had dinner. We tell Falcons to go fuck themselves, and Nightmare picks up the scrim and comes third at the event. Like that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
There's a word for that. The passion where you that's it. Passion. That's the word.
Always want to take that one extra block.
Be us. We're good for like a -1 block situation, and we took multiple minus blocks. I booked everything to make sure that the schedule was full, and then subtracted them all on site because we couldn't be asked. Desperately wanted to swim the whole time I was there, but literally could not find 2 hours in the day to go for a swim at the hotel. Like from start to finish, couldn't find 2 free hours to go for a swim before 10 p.m. It was just like, it was so incredibly busy the whole time that we were there. And then even when we were eliminated, it's like, hey, 60% of your roster, get in this fucking stadium show match. You think you're going to Shanghai today? Think again, buddy. Like you will be here till the day you die. It was really busy, but it was so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Did you guys have to do all your Alipay and stuff to pay for everything?
Yeah.
I think the only time I ever paid for anything was for my fucking Maccas when I was at the airport leaving.
Yeah, this guy was more interested in winning tournaments than having fun in China, and it shows.
Yeah.
It's my Alipay so much stuff.
Yeah. I hadn't left the hotel or the venues until like the final night after we got eliminated. Like we went out to like some Japanese restaurant like 5 minutes away from the venue. Like it was a really nice area to walk around, but I literally just didn't do it the entire event because we were like hella busy. And we went to this Japanese restaurant, like fucking probably like enough room for like 20 something seats, and like there's 2 big groups in there already, and they're just fans, and they're like asking us for photos while we're eating and stuff. Like it was so crazy.
Did the fans speak any English?
Yeah, a lot of them did.
Really?
Yeah. Or like, not much, but they were like, they were really appreciative though. make it known that they were, very supportive.
Good bunch of
Yeah.
people, the Chinese.
Mm.
It was usually a bit of a swing and a miss with like finding, a Chinese restaurant owner or a waiter that spoke English. But a lot of the people at the venue, the people that would come up to you for photos and signatures and whatnot, like they had enough English to basically say, please, for the love of God, can I get a picture with you right this second, sugar free?
Yeah.
And yeah,
Filters on, I assume.
Oh, it's
Oh,
actually
I saw some of the fan pictures.
it's so
of people
fucking
how, like,
funny.
it's so filtered, it's insane.
When they pull out their phone and they have a government mandated filter over the camera app, so like you just look
I'm looking at
15%
myself
more
and I'm like, that is
attractive.
not fucking me.
I've come
Princess.
home with even more body dysmorphia. Like,
Yeah, wearing makeup every day and then looking at the filters they're taking of you. You're just like,
You were
holy
looking
fuck.
stunning, mate, though, you were.
Did you find your popularity went up? Like once you had the Crazy Raccoon result, did you start getting more attention when you were out and like walking around the arena?
Yeah, like we would come back from the hotel at like 10 p.m. and there's just like 20 fans waiting outside asking for photos and signatures. I think like right after the grand finals ended, because like we wanted to watch like the final map. So we walked back to the venue after we like showered after the loss. And we fucking go in there, watch like the last bit of Circuit Royale, and then we leave. And like as we're leaving, there's just like a fuck ton of fans. Like so many fans just like surround. It was like me, UV, Vision, and Admiral. And we just get surrounded. Like I've never seen that many people line up for like signatures and like photos. Like we had to get police escorted away from like all the fans because the event staff were freaking the fuck out. Because like there are so many people trying to leave the venue and there's like hundreds of people surrounding like 4 white people and they don't know what the fuck's going on because they see it on like the security cameras. And like our player manager messages us like, my leader find me. They say you guys are surrounded. And then they just bring like
you're surrounded.
yeah, they bring like 20 police officers to come like escort us out. I felt like a fucking celebrity. Landon took a video of us like walking or Vision. And there was so many people following us. And then we had to like go downstairs and we get shuttled out of the fucking venue. That was stressing though. Like it was crazy. Because we walked out and like a few people asked and then like it just started piling and piling up because they see like these fucking white people.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, these foreigners, like I want to get a photo with these. And then they recognize that we were the ones that beat Crazy Raccoon. So they're like, holy shit, come here. And then, yeah. That was fucking unreal though.
I'm glad you had fun.
It was very fun.
All right, Chris, I'm sure there's probably another one relatively soon, right? There's another one you can qualify for, soon, right?
I feel like just basic economics, they just need to do another China event, no? Like they're never going to sell that many tickets in NA or EU, and it feels like everyone came away from it quite well. So I feel like they should do as many China events as possible now that China's fully back and reintegrated and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that shit was insane. I mean, I haven't really been to any other international lands before. So like the bar is fucking set really high. But everyone I spoke to was saying like this is like the most insane event they've ever been to. I was talking to like some of the Blizzard staff like at the bar because they had like an open tab at the bar on like the final night. Just fucking talking about the event. And yeah, everyone was saying it was like super successful. So surely they bring it back for next year.
I'll be there, mate. I'm going to qualify for that one for sure. I'll put my
Just knocking
marriage
it
on the
forward.
line again.
Something I looked forward to.
Yeah.
you're good for that for sure. Just give it another 12 months. The ultimate slingshot. I think we've talked about the upward trajectory of your career throughout the year as well. So surely you'll snowball it into a top 2 finish for a Chinese land next year.
I think so too. I'm optimistic.
Yeah. Me personally, I'm thinking it's going to be crash and burn by stage 3, and either
That's
it'll
quite
be
optimistic.
like
You're going to get to stage 3.
yeah, selling my body or trying to be some sort of like stage talent and hoping that they fly the talent out next year. That's like the pathway.
The hepatitis is going to make selling your body really, really difficult too. So
It's
Some of
so
the market
hard if
value
you don't
for
tell
sure.
people, to be
yeah,
honest.
it's good, mate.
Might be like a fetish for it, Maybe someone's really into it and they'll actually pay you more for it.
I doubt that, but if they
Yeah.
only find out in post, it's not my problem.
Well,
That's true.
if anyone
That's what
is
they say.
interested in hepatitis, leave a comment below and we'll be sure to give you Unter's contact details. So, should we talk about some actual Overwatch? We've covered China, we've covered hepatitis. Those are the 2
all the big
key
ones are
talking points.
hit.
All the big ones are covered, so we should probably get to the Overwatch at some point. But I think we should still stay with Nightmare because really the story of the entire weekend Some people, certain doctors who might be having their licenses revoked, were trying to spin a narrative of chokers that turned to onliners. But it turned out, maybe all these other tournaments, the lights simply weren't bright enough. They needed maximum luminosity to reach their full power. So maybe you could tell us a bit about it, cuFFa, because obviously we went from disappointment at Soup to this result here. What changed in that week, or what felt different from one week to the next?
I can't lie, our bootcamp was pretty fucking scuffed. Like, I think that like definitely contributed to Soup Cup. Like, there's like a lot of boomage, like issues, but I don't know. Like, I think at least me personally, like Soup Cup is definitely like a lower priority than the fucking Champions Clash. Like,
fair.
I think you're probably right, mate. Yeah.
What?
Oh.
like maybe it was a blessing in disguise. Everyone thought we were shitheaded into the event, and we just come out swinging. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it was like a good learning experience, Soup Cup, I guess. Like, we was like, wow, we fucking lost away. We suck. Like, we got to fix shit. And then, like, Gultek came back because he wasn't helping us for Soup. So maybe he was just the glue all along, you know?
It was legit. It took like 4 days of Gultek coaching for you to go from losing away to beating Crazy Raccoon.
Surely that's just, you know, more for the stocks of Gultek, you know?
His stocks are like... I wish I'd stuck my
out of this
portfolio into him, you know? Like, I
went all in on Tesla, and instead...
that fucking S&P 500 was bullshit compared to the fucking Gultek stocks.
Yeah. Dollar GLTK.
Just about the only stock in the green right now.
Propping up the entire market right now.
Absolutely.
Our episode today has very kindly been sponsored by FACEIT, and the reason they've sponsored us is because FACEIT League is starting again. Season 5 of FACEIT League. The registration is open right now. The registration ends on the 30th of April. So the best way to sign up is to use our code. The link will be below. You'll get 20% off all of FACEIT. And FACEIT, coming back strong with Season 5. There's a $50,000 prize pool across all regions. There's all the different tiers again. But there's also some major adjustments they've made coming in, including hero bans and losers pick format coming in as well. Isn't that right, Chris?
It is. So I think obviously one maybe piece of feedback that we had from people playing in the first FACEIT League season was that the hero bans was different to how we do in OWCS. But that's now been changed, and we are going to have the same method that the pros have been using for the last few months, I guess. And this is objectively the best way to do it. I think we even spoke about in the episode the idea of like being able to plan your first ban on your favorite maps and then get the right counter ban. I think that this adds a whole new level of strategy. It gave us something to talk about for 3 hours, which is pretty difficult. Which also leads us into the second thing, which is the loser picks. This is obviously another massive change. I think that this is like really good if you're the type of team that just has that one map or that one specific strategy, and you can always get one W on the board, you know. Go to circuit and play your signatures, Sigma comp or whatever it ends up being. I think what a lot of people that are playing this season of FACEIT League will feel is that the format is almost identical to the pros, which I think is, again, this is what we really want. You know, the pro scene is designed to be the best way to play Overwatch. So it's really good that now FACEIT League is aligned with that as much as possible.
There's also going to be fast track qualifiers in this time around for expert and advanced. So if you don't want to go straight in at the bottom of open, you think your team, you're a tier above, you can enter these qualifiers. Obviously, signups are open right now, so sign up fast, but it means you can go directly into expert or advanced. There are no open qualifiers for masters. Obviously, there's sort of some pros and cons to this, but I think in terms of what we saw from Master Division last season, we actually saw a pretty stable league, a lot of good teams. And when we eventually got to the end, in terms of promotion and relegation, we actually saw loads of promotions. Frosttails, Quick Esports, obviously Dilducks as well, all coming up, getting promoted. And I think actually, in many ways, you kind of want Master Division to be a little bit separate, a little bit sort of promote consistency amongst teams. You don't want anyone be able to skip to this sort of elite tier that can get directly into OWCS. So if you do want to go all the way to the top, you have to go through expert into master all the way through. But I think that gives the masters teams a sense of protection and really rewards consistency across rosters. And I think if you look at this Dilducks team, this Frosttails team, these are rosters that have been together for a long time. So these are the sort of rosters you do want to reward and give the opportunity to get all the way through to OWCS.
Yeah, I really can't stress enough just how close these deadlines are is the thing. I mean, the final deadline for registration is on the 30th of April, right? But if you want to play in one of these fast track qualifiers, they are sooner still. The 26th Saturday for Expert Division, the 27th Sunday for Advanced. So if you want to fast track and jump up to another division, you've literally got to sign up right this second. You've got to get right over to the website, drop in a fce.gg/uncoachable and use our code to sign up, preferably. You know, if you're doing it without the code, you're doing it wrong, in my opinion. It's really, really close with these deadlines. I mean, we've talked, you know, ad nauseum at this point in our little Faceit advertisements about the advantages of playing here in the league. You know, it's objectively better than ranked. People actually try to win the games when they're playing in these Faceit matchups. There's a pathway to pro. You can continually climb up these divisions. You can play in FPL. You can play with the pros. You get significantly better games, you know, in terms of the opponents that you're getting and the level of effort that you're getting from your teammates. There's very little downside to the Faceit League, but seriously, the deadlines are very, very close. So close to the release of this episode that some might suggest there's something of a time crunch for all parties involved. So again, you might want to go over to fce.gg/uncoachable and sign up using our code, because by the time you're watching this, you're probably, you know, within 10 seconds of the Expert Division deadline being, you know, reached.
Pause the video right now and go sign up. It's the best way to support the podcast, it's to support our sponsors, and the best way to support Overwatch and its ecosystem as an esports is through the Faceit League. So go sign up right now. We've been trying to spin our own narratives here that have been dispelled by you. But I saw online on the social media, people trying to spin a narrative, and this was just a fluke, a flash in the pan, never repeatable under any circumstances. It was pure luck. NA are coping, they can't rematch. What do you say to those fans, cuFFa?
You just can't please everybody. Like, everyone's just gonna fucking yap about some bullshit. Like, I think...
Okay, do you not think there's like... Listen, you guys did it. You're the first team to ever beat the Koreans, okay? I'm not trying to shit on your parade here, but we have to ask the hard questions here on Uncoachable. Otherwise, we just, you know, we wouldn't be doing the truth. Like, how come it was like so different the day after against all the Koreans? Like, you don't think there's any element of like they were just couldn't get going against you, and then when they realized it was like for real, they got to pounding?
I think there's probably like a bit of an element to that, but like I think if you like compare how we played on the day one versus, or like that day versus the day after, we just played like significantly worse. Like you see like all our macros like actually out the window in the final day. I feel like we didn't do anything the way we normally do. And obviously, I was so scared of them heading into the rematch. I think everyone was like, once you beat them once, like they're going to come out fucking swinging. Like we were like, okay, we have to beat Falcons. Like we thought we could beat Falcons because like that was the team that we would consistently beat in scrims, like in the lead up to the tournament. Like we were so confident.
Falcons and scrims. Every LAN I've ever been, it's the same shit. Falcons fucking dog shit, and then they never lose.
Yeah, like we're fucking.
I did it here.
We're playing Ramiro against them every day, and we're just like winning like consistently, and like we felt so good. And then we scrim Crazy Raccoons. We're getting fucking 6-0. We're getting fucking shit banged out the window.
How much did you scrim Crazy Raccoon leading up to it?
Oh, only twice.
Because like
Falcons, we scrim, like,
I don't know like how true this is, but like my perception of like your match versus them, like the one that you won to lock in third place, was a bit like, I don't know if it's right if you scrimmed them twice, but it kind of felt like, oh, there's like an element where it's like, you know, it's a day where you guys were really fucking on and they were probably not on.
Oh,
but that's
yeah,
like whatever,
sure.
You know, like talking about that is like bullshit, you know, like obviously you were on, you beat Crazy Raccoon, and obviously they weren't on because they shit on you the next day. But the thing that I thought was like, you know, maybe the bigger thing was that like they had like a really bad read on what you guys were going to do, you know, like they thought that like, you know, you're a Ram team that won't play Monkey, or, you know, like they start Kings Row and they've got Shu on Brig. You know what I mean? Like they're just doing shit which seems really fucking dumb and like really fucking poorly designed to play against you guys. So it felt like on Kings Row and New Queen Street both, they were like actually tossing with the choices they made, you know? Because like their New Queen Street comp, it just loses to Winston. But like it felt like they thought you weren't going to pick Winston or something, or that you couldn't do it. And I was wondering if it was something where like, did they never see you picking Winston? Or did they see you play Winston versus Wei and think, wow, these guys are so fucking dog shit, we can beat them with anything? Like, what do you think was the cause of that? Because I felt like they really, like, super heavily underestimated, like, you guys' ability to play more than just, like, Ram. And then they just fucking trolled because of that.
Yeah, I think their draft was horrible against us. Like their bans were like actually dog shit.
Well, I don't know nothing about that, to be honest. Like I don't know about bans.
Yeah, I don't know. Like when we scripted them, we definitely had played Monkey against them. I mean, I think Monkey was like actually the closest comp we had against them. Maybe.
So why'd they do that? Like why I just don't get it. It's just really weird.
I reckon because they did swap on New Queen Street eventually, right? But it was like deep into the New Queen Street. They eventually cop it and like swap to Anna Brig, and the ball takes even longer. I reckon they probably just win on that comp all the time, and they just weren't expecting to lose. Like they fuck up a couple of fights and they figure they're just going to bring it back, and then when it starts they start to realize they're not bringing it back. Then they start to hit panic stations, like. When I watched for replays back, it felt like start of the series like Ilios. It's just fucking classic Crazy Raccoon, right? And it looks like we're in for the series that maybe everyone expects. Can't beat those guys on the ball comp there. Really tough. Then we go to King's Row. Max comes in. You probably get a matchup you're probably a little bit more comfortable with. They're trying to play like Zen and stuff on second, and it just feels all a little bit rough. But I feel like what happened maybe at the end of King's Row is the actual final fight on King's Row was just good Overwatch, right? You managed to they kind of use Kirio on point. You get a good disengage. Everyone lives. You come back in. And I think all of a sudden, what's maybe the most unique thing about this series compared to all the other Crazy Raccoon series, we always talk about Crazy Raccoon as the most clutch team we've maybe ever seen. Definitely in OWCS, if not ever. And they lost every clutch. Every time it came down to that final fight or an important moment or something like this, it was you guys who won every single clutch. And I think it's been like, maybe we've never seen a team just out-clutch Crazy Raccoon in all these important fights. So I think a combination of winning all those 50-50s, plus having like a probably better comp matchups on like a couple of them, like most of New Queen Street, probably the Hazard when you were in the Kiri Lucio mirror, like the Hazard v Winston as well. And then all of a sudden, Route 66 as well, we see the same shit. Like Jump In dies on 99% primal. Shu fucking nanojaxes onto him as well, like when he's on 1 HP. Suddenly all these 50-50, all these small clutch situations, everything goes against Crazy Raccoon. But I don't think that's like a fluke, if you know what I mean. That's or lucky. I think there's an element of like Nightmare have earned their luck here. Like they've rattled them a little bit, and now all of a sudden Crazy Raccoon are feeling a lot of pressure in a game they didn't expect to feel any pressure in.
Yeah, I think you could tell they were like pretty fucking rattled in that game.
They lost root. Like they have to be boomed to lose that root, dude. Like Lucia Kiri versus Anna Brig as well. It's like it feels like you just have like they have a comp diff, you know, and like you make them match into you, and they're just getting fucking trashed on. Like it's actually crazy. So I think it's like ridiculous that people are like reductive of it to the point that it's like, oh, you know, Crazy Raccoon just played like shit and they're so lucky to have accomplished it. Because it's like, it's more than luck, right? Like, did you watch the end of that route? Like Zero literally like ascended, you know, he started levitating on the stage. It's like a 3v5, 2-man pulse, doesn't die. By the end of the fight, he has another pulse. Like he's clutched it up so ridiculously hard, you know, like this isn't luck. Like this is like an expression of like really high level of skill. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just because the lights on the stage are all pointing out to the crowd and none were pointing into you guys, to be honest. But we're not ready to have that conversation yet.
Yeah.
I feel like you're not allowed to practice medicine anymore, Max. Your license is suspended from spin.
People are fucking weird. Like I think this should be like a sign that like the West can, you know, compete at a level that people need to like actually try more. Because I feel like everyone just like insta gives up when they versus Crazy Raccoon. I mean, like we knew like Ilios are like, fuck, that map's gonna be fucking tough. Like they banned Winston, we're gonna play Hazard comp against Ball. Like we were confident against Team CC doing that because it's fucking Team CC, you know. But when Jumpin's on Ball, just 1v9, they're fucking face fucking us as we walk out of spawn, you know. That was rough, but they sub in Max. I'm like, guys, we can win. Like they giving us this map, and then we can fucking get the ball rolling. Like I think we were still really confident in that series, and you know. I still wanted to verse VP though, like low key. I wanted to settle like the NAEU stuff, but I mean, getting a winner CR can't be too bad, I guess.
Do you think we would have beat VP? I think we would have beat VP. To be honest, I think we both would have beat VP. Like,
yeah, I mean, we didn't script you guys at all the entire event. So
we beat VP like 4 out of 6 or 5 out of 6 times. Like we lost like at the very, very start, like maybe first day or second day, and then I felt like we beat them every time thereafter.
Yeah,
so I think it felt like
VP were like maybe overhyped after Super Cup. Like that kind of pissed me off because everyone's saying we're super shit, which is like valid. We played fucking horrible at Super Cup, but like that's why I wanted to verse VP and like win that match. just to show that we weren't shit, but then we beat Crazy Raccoon. So like, I don't know. People saying that's a fluke, like they can say that, whatever the fuck. I don't give a fuck. But I think like low-key, like the next day, if we win that Legion against Falcons, I reckon that day ends so much different.
You
I
should
think
have won
that's
it
fair.
too.
We
really
needed
should
that
have won it.
Legion to like get the
harder
energy.
to
'cause-
lose. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone in the crowd wanted us to win, I reckon. Like, if we won that map one, like, holy fuck, the energy would have been insane. I don't know. It just felt like a little off on the final day.
I think it's hard. It almost would have. I don't know if it would have been easier to play it the same day, but it's almost harder because you have that you have the night and the whole like 24 hours because you've got like first game of the day as well. You have like this long period of time, and all of a sudden the expectations shift massively since you beat Crazy Raccoon, and now all of a sudden it feels like a much more winnable series because of that, and there's like a bit more pressure on the performance.
Yeah,
I think.
agree.
I was just going to say, I think the thing as well is like this whole tournament, because the worst thing about Nightmare got lucky is it's actually a really boring narrative. Like, they just got lucky and it's just over. Where actually, it takes away so much from what I think you guys achieved. Like, what an insane performance. Like,
Literally
mostly by
no one
playing
else
good
has
Overwatch.
ever done.
No one else has ever done this, right?
Yeah.
No one else has ever done this. So what's more interesting? Just a bunch of lucky Americans, plus an Australian, plus an Estonian, plus a guy from Turkey. Or that all of a sudden, this team have come together, didn't get a partner team, worked super hard, and they've beaten what everyone considers to be the strong favourites for this tournament. Not even by like a small margin or scraped it over like 3-1, beat them on all the maps they wanted to play. Crazy Raccoon got to pick the bans and the maps for like last half of that series, lost both of them. And maybe all of a sudden, I feel like at the end of last year, we had kind of accepted our fate as the West, I feel like. That we're never getting close to Korea. But all of a sudden, Crazy Raccoon losing to Nightmare, Falcons dropping maps, not just to China, but Virtus Pro take a map, Al Qadsiah take a map. All of a sudden, it starts to feel like maybe the gap has closed a little bit compared to where it was at the end of last year.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I think it's like a pretty poor mindset for everyone to just go into it and think like, oh, it's fucked from the start. Like you can never beat the Koreans. Like I think that's like why the West is so far behind. It's just like a culture gap, no? Like they just instantly give up when they versus a Korean team. Like they just don't think that they can outwork him. I don't know. Like that was good Overwatch played that day, and I think it's pretty weird that people think it's like a hard fluke and like that'll never be like replicated again. Because like I don't know. I feel like it's so possible to, fucking kick him down a bit more.
If anything, it might snowball the opposite direction.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
now people have seen it.
Him.
All of a sudden, they're like, "Well, if these guys can do it," because I think what you've done, maybe I don't know if you feel this way, Max, but maybe for like the other NA teams and the EMEA teams, Nightmare beating Crazy Raccoon, it feels like all of a sudden the bar has been raised for all the Western teams. It's not just about being the best in the West or can we beat China or something. Now it's like, oh fuck, this team have come and punched up to the big dogs, so now all of a sudden the bar's a little bit higher for everyone else in terms of what's possible.
I think there's definitely an element of that. I think like, our team had like really mixed emotions after Nightmare won the match because there's almost like an element of like disappointment is like the only way to describe it, right? In the sense that like the bar has gone up that much, like they've accomplished something that like no team has ever been able to accomplish before. And it's like, maybe it's a positive reflection on us in the sense that it's like, if we've like won matches versus Nightmare and had close finals versus Nightmare or whatever, maybe that means that like we're all closer to this level than people think. But at the same time, it's like, they're the ones that have like made this history and like done what no other team has ever been able to accomplish. And it's like, well, it wasn't us, right? But I also think like with what our team's mindset is like, generally speaking, when it comes to approaching, the job, you should only be happy for Nightmare post, after the fact, because it's like shit, like they actually did it, they worked really, really hard and they've put in heaps of effort and they've got so much fucking passion, and it's all paid off for them, like they actually managed to accomplish something that, that kind of cements them as like best in West for the time being, because nobody else has ever done this. Like even the
close,
Toronto,
right?
Yeah, like the Toronto stack team. I mean, you say even close, it's like, it's so nuts for a full Western team to do that, right? Because like Crazy Raccoon never lost to Toronto last year, but Toronto did beat ZETA and go to a grand final at a big international event. And I don't know if that's a comparable accomplishment, I don't know if
I
that's
think
better
so.
or worse, but they're not full Western. That was
Yeah,
someone a meta,
they-
right?
it-
I
yeah,
think this.
exactly.
I think
Overwatch
Toronto's
champions,
I think
yeah.
making it to a grand final is a bigger accomplishment. Beating Crazy Raccoon in any context in a first to three with a full Western roster, that's a bigger accomplishment for the West. You know, like that's much more meaningful for the West. So I think you know they've actually like made a bit of history here. So we should immediately diminish it, say it was a fucking fluke. And move on.
I feel like actually the only counter narrative I would do is like I think the only disappointing thing from you fucking cuFFa, mate, is I feel like the worst part is like just that the Sunday was so one-sided, you know? Like I feel like even if you'd lost both games, but you'd looked competitive and you'd gone down swinging and took a map here or there, I think that we could really like buy into everything that we just said, you know? I think it would all be super fair. Eh?
Would a map have fucking killed you?
Yeah, I mean, come on,
seriously.
But I feel like that's the only downside is like it was like we can beat them, and then if you'd lost 3-1 and you'd made it say okay, well Falcons are better, but it looks like the levels are comparable.
Like, yeah.
That's the problem, you know. The problem, the reason the anti-American, you know, the haters on Reddit, what will be able to fuel their hate is the fact that it wasn't close on the last day, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like even when like once again lost to Falcons, it looked so competitive that I think you can take something from that. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think ultimately like diminishing. I tried really hard to beat those Koreans, and it never once looked like even remotely possible to achieve what you guys achieved. So I think it makes like certain decisions, like Team Liquid not signing ZETA is fucking insane now. It actually looks like it looks horrendously criminal right now, you know.
I mean, I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I mean the fact that like both SSG and Team Liquid got first dibs at everything, got all their inputs and got all this, and then I think you guys
didn't make it.
Scrapped together, and then
who built those bloody rosters? Fuck.
Yeah. So I think there's so much credit that has to go.
It's the weights gap, man. Yeah. It was all weights.
I think it's fair to like be critical of the final day. I mean, these guys have played in fucking every single grand final since the beginning of time. This is like half
also the lights were too bright there. You were good for
Sunday,
like
Sunday lights. They cranked it up
brighter on Sunday.
They changed them a little bit. Yeah. I was like, whoa, it's a little bit brighter today, you know?
Was it Easter Sunday?
No, it was the last week, wasn't it?
No, it was, yeah, right?
Yeah, Easter Sunday, yeah.
That could have been it.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, you're right, mate. You're right.
There could have been like a great disturbance in the Catholic force, and as a result, you just couldn't.
The stars just weren't aligned.
Yeah,
the stars weren't aligned. The Pope was actively.
Maybe they're a bit more religious than us. A bit more heart in the. I don't know. I really think
Crazy Raccoon went through a similar resurrection process as Jesus. I think it's, but
And on the third day, they absolutely shit on Noah.
I think that's in the Bible. I'm sure it's in the Bible.
It probably is. I think if we fucking win that Lee Jane though, holy fuck, that day's
really close, right?
Yeah, it was. It was so close.
Like final fight, they had like no ults. I don't know. We're just like, and then Kings Row, like we still like got to third point. We capped third, and like our defense, we just shat the bed. Like they fucking always do this thing. They play this fucking diva comp on first. They fucking win first fight instantly and go their fucking Morga cheese. And we just like we're getting baited too much. Like they just. You know, they're baiting us on the side fight, then the Morga pins in and just fucks us from the side. I don't
Stands
know.
on your head.
Yeah, and then I fucked up the end of second point. Like, it's just like, just little shit that like you're just gonna fucking think about for a while, you know? Like, I feel like that series we really wanted to fucking beat Falcons because that would have been insane if we beat both the Korean teams. I didn't give a fuck if we lost the grand final. I would have just been happy with that.
Insane, yeah.
Did your mentality feel different, or like in the team, did it feel different the second day compared to the first day? Because I imagine the first day you sort of go in like, fuck it, just give it our best, play our own games, see what happens, you know?
Fuck yeah, we literally said like we would. I think just before we went on stage, we saw Smash. I was like, fucking, we were like, see you later, like see you later today, because we're gonna verse after this loss, and then we just win, and it's like, what the fuck? But like that win was so nice because instead of having to play like 3 games to make it to the next day, we were going to play 1. Like we're just sitting there watching the games and like I don't know, I think it definitely got to us a little bit that like we can compete, and it probably added more pressure because like heading into Crazy Raccoons, there's literally no pressure. Like we were just fucking Well, like, yeah, these guys are fucking the best.
It's like a
we'll
true zero expectations game.
Yeah.
People were
Yeah,
sleeping.
you shouldn't be
People were
feeling-
skipping
yeah.
your
I
game.
Yeah,
didn't
And
yeah.
then they
watch it,
woke
mate.
up like, what's happened?
Woke up to a nightmare, you know.
Yeah. And like, I think us being a lot more confident heading into the Falcons game because of the win, and also like our scrum results against them, that probably like added a little bit of, extra pressure, expectation. Yeah, like we're like, oh, we're so close to winning map 1, and it kind of falls apart on map 2, and it's like, fuck, like how do you come back for this? The down 2, it's just really hard, especially in like land. I don't know. Like these guys are just like, this is what they've done like for years.
Well, all of a sudden, like when we talked about the first Crazy Raccoon series, where every 50-50, every clutch, you guys are finding a way. All of a sudden, that last fight of Lijiang Tower, Falcons do some absolute vintage Falcons bullshit of having no ults, walking into double support ult, and Proper just goes across the map and one-shots one of the guys like 8% off ult. And all of a sudden, the fight's just all to play for. And it's like, now it's almost more of what we're used to seeing from the Koreans, because Falcons, Crazy Raccoon, they always seem to find a way to clutch in these situations. But
Yeah.
I got shades of that fucking Pro-Am game. I remember like we versed Shock, like Pro-Am fucking 2023. Like we're about to take map 1, and like my timeless roster, and then Proper just like unironically kills 5 just out of nowhere. It's like sometimes they just do that,
it happened.
It was so awesome that the very first fight of the very first series of the tournament was Proper getting a clean 5k versus Al Qad. Like just so fucking typical of this guy to clean up with like an absolutely perfect 5k to open up the tournament. But just with regards to the Koreans in general, I mean, the thing about these guys is that like, they're known for rising to the occasion. They always come top 2 at every single fucking event, every single time. The only reason that they didn't come top 2 at EWC is because they fucked up in the group stage. It was a single elim bracket. Yeah, exactly. Because they met in the semis, right? Like, not trying to reduce cuFFa's accomplishment of beating them, because I think top 3 at a global event is always really good, and beating Crazy Raccoon and Falcons in any context is always really good. But I do think that these are teams where it's like, if you're in the elimination game, that they're probably going to win, Like,
when push comes to shove.
Exactly. When push comes to shove, when the lights are brightest, like that's where they thrive, Like they're so fucking outrageously good, Like you can't convince me that Stalker's not a robot and that didn't even hoist the trophy at the end of it. Like it's just, it's insane.
Wait, they just play like every single match of their career, like online as well. I think that definitely helps a lot with like just that environment.
You definitely notice some of that stuff. It's like, we had like some pretty, I guess, serious technical issues when it came to like, the stage. Like really big problems.
Yeah, I heard about your stuff, but like I remember like deadass like the last fight of Crazy Raccoons, Route 66, my headphones are like falling out. Like I swear I spent like half the fucking tournaments just like trying to fix my fucking headset. Like my in-ears, they just kept falling out.
Yeah.
And like the final fight, I could like barely hear my team. Like they're like half out. It's so hard to hear everyone. I have to think so hard to hear what they're saying. And then we win. I'm like, holy fuck, thank God. Because I would have been pissed. Like if we lost that map, I was like, that was going to get in my head because I was like, fuck. Like I should have just like called for a pause to like fix my fucking headset.
Yeah. Like they sent out the memo about needing in-ears like really, really close to the event itself.
Oh, that shit was
like
so
already
brain
boot camping. And like, we like asked the org about it, and then like by the time something was like sorted out, we were in China. And once we were in China, we just couldn't fucking find anything that was any good, Like we wound up buying these like, these Dollar Tree ass fucking Oppo in-ears that were just like, like a $13 in-ear that is some absolute fucking wank. And half the team was playing with those. And then we like borrowed some off Falcons. And then Falcons took them back after the first day because things were looking a bit too good for us, I suppose, after we got 2-0 by Crazy Raccoon. So
I don't want to let these guys get go.
These guys can hear a little bit too much, I think.
So we got a spare set of like Razer human in-ears that could actually hear, and then we had to give them back away and go back to the Oppo. So it is what it is. But like that wasn't really like our issue. Our issue was like there was no way to like mix the audio on the stage.
Yeah,
and you had to talk to the stage admin and say, hey, he needs to hear him less. He needs to hear him more, and do like manual mixing through a stage admin. But there was like a difficulty multiplier that the stage admin was Chinese and barely spoke any English. And this wasn't really a problem for us versus Crazy Raccoon, because I don't think you can really cope your way through any sort of Crazy Raccoon outcome for our match. Like it was closed until it wasn't for one map. But it was a real problem when we were verse once again because they can speak Chinese. So I think they got their audio stuff sorted out pretty quickly. And we were trying to sort it out for like 10 minutes straight. And then they're like, get off the stage. And we're like, we're not done with the audio. And they're like, get off the stage. And we're like, oh, okay, that's sick. And then we get back on the stage and we keep trying to fix the audio. And it's like, it's just not happening. I keep saying to the stage admin, hey, no one can hear him. And I'm like standing behind Bliss being like, no one can hear him. And he's like, up? And I'm like, yeah, up. And then they're like, okay, shut up, loading into the game. Start the map, no one can hear him. Still, like just like muted, like outrageous. So they just made us play the first map. And like over time, we fixed it like map to map, adjustment in the brief periods of time that they let you talk. But it's like, that was a bit fucked, to be honest.
Yeah.
Maybe for future events, when you have a Western team on the stage, you should have someone that speaks English standing behind them to mix their microphones and audio. But you know what? You live and you learn, right?
Yeah, we had like three people that were able to translate for us, but like it was still like a struggle at times.
Oh, wait, the thing is, we were up against once again, so they were all on their side of the stage. Like just being so happy, like, oh my god, Gooshway, can you cross dress after this game? Oh my god. And we're just like,
I think it was like, a little annoying, like having like we would constantly ask like, oh, like I need to hear him more, and then like 5 minutes later into stage setup, like we still haven't fixed that, and it's like,
I mean,
you guys have to get
like,
off the stage soon because we're about to do like walkouts.
Yeah, for us it was like they actually just like full made us get off because it was like we were trying to fix it for so long and they just weren't doing it, and they were just like, get off. So I was like, oh, brilliant, we'll figure that out after a map or two. Yeah. I
think having like a mix amp on stage, be able to adjust your own settings would have fucking prevented a lot of issues with that.
I'll pass that on for next year's feedback.
There is a feedback form. Did you fill it out yet?
Windows probably.
What do you think, cuFFa?
And that,
you think Max
I mean, that feedback
form?
that feedback has been like very directly delivered to the admins 5 different ways already. So I'm not sure how important the form is for getting that one passed up the chain.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, it was like
I think that was like
you went to dinner. You went to dinner with the Blizzard people. I mean, you went to drink with the Blizzard people. I went to drink with the Blizzard people. Went and copped some dinner afterwards, and I was probably belligerently drunk, complaining about the mixer for 20 minutes straight. So you know what? Someone must have heard it.
Yeah, I remember. I was telling the guy,
if I complain loudly at the bar, someone will hear this and fix it for next time.
I was telling some of the Blizzard stuff. I was like, why not more courier slots? And like, we got in a full conversation about it. I was doing God's PR for ZETA Division and T1. I was advocating for more career slots.
Could you stop sucking off those teams and instead, ask for another slot for North America where you compete?
Well, what do I benefit from giving Timeless a slot at international lands, eh?
I mean, the way that it goes is Korea is going to win the LCQ and Korea is going to win the grand finals. So 2 slots for Korea actually is 4 slots for Korea.
Yeah.
And you can think your way through that one and think, okay, well, if we gave them 2 more, then we'd actually be giving them 6 because they're just going to win every LCQ and every championship. So 4 is a good number in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it is. Apparently the LCQ is like at the actual EWC event.
Yeah, it's a big LCQ as well. Like lots of teams flown out to Riyadh for weeks. So
for weeks?
God, multiple. It's like multiple weeks because there's so many teams. So truly, I really don't want to have to.
It's like a whole.
LCQ.
It's a whole mini tournament before the actual thing.
I don't know if the details are announced.
Surely that's like a good boot camp in a sense, though. Like maybe you intentionally fucking toss your fucking stage.
You can go spend 2 weeks in Riyadh, buddy. Sure, dude. Have fun.
Everyone's going to be in Korea
to qualify.
Has everyone boot camp in Korea?
Well, that's what they did last year. I imagine they'll do the same. So if you have to go to the LCQ in Riyadh, I think you might actually end up in the worst place, like because everyone's pissed off. Everyone's pissed off to Korea for the boot camp.
I don't think the orgs will want to do boot camps in Korea because Korea is really far away from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
But it'll just wind up being where the teams wind up choosing, Like if a couple of teams pull the trigger on one location, then there is no longer an option to boot camp elsewhere because you have to go where the consensus is, right? And I reckon if the Korean teams just plant the fucking flag in Korea and say, we ain't leaving, then we're all going to go to Korea. You know what I mean? Like
maybe they'll want to go there, like blame... So they're not like jet lagged to the matches,
Fuck that shit, dude. Jet lag is.
I reckon they'll
for their single elimination bracket.
Before we get too far, one person I feel like we should have mentioned while we're talking about Nightmare actually is what a land from Admiral. What a performance! I feel like genuinely the best performance of his career, like unbelievable stuff. So I know we talked about Nightmare a lot already, but I thought a special praise for Admiral.
Shout out.
Yeah.
We had on Brig as
Please.
well. You know, not a hero
Please.
people typically associate with him, but actually unbelievable performance on the Brig, really.
Yeah, I think he's definitely like the most underlooked player. Is that, I don't know. If that's
Underrated,
right.
Yeah,
perhaps?
that's fine, mate.
Yeah, I mean,
Underlooked.
like he's like he's like insane. Like he's always consistent. You know, he's always doing his job, and he never gets praised for it. Like that's like the main support thing. They'll shit on your Ajaxes and stuff, but when you play good, you don't really get any credit. I mean,
That's the thing about being a main support, mate. Like,
Yeah, that is
you get trashed on if you do badly, and if you are not noticed, you're actually doing so fucking well. Like,
yeah,
truly.
yeah.
If
If you're
nobody
not in the
notices
line
you
of
as a main
fire, you're
sport-
doing a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's insane. Like I think everyone played really well in the tournament. Zero had like legacy games. Dennis played really fucking good as well. UV just did UV things. You know, I think everyone played really well.
What are you, a fucking Marvel movie now? UV did UV things. Come on now. Like,
Oh, you know, gotta work on the fucking the proppy C.
You're not the only one allowed to spin
and
that.
cuFFa, just be yourself. Like, oh my god.
Sorry, I forgot we can't mention UV on this podcast. We got banned.
Hey, we were going to do Zero or UV as the guests for this episode, actually, but they got stuck in China for so long that they couldn't make it to the event
Yeah.
or something.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm used to being an afterthought. It's all good.
It's all right, mate.
Should we talk about SSG a bit? Because I guess it was kind of a bit of a weird event in terms of you played like Crazy Raccoon, then Team CC. So you played the best and the worst team. Results were as expected. And then a fairly competitive game against once again. Like, I felt especially was it Esperanza that map 4 felt like it was kind of there for you.
The
but how
final
do you
fight
feel
with three
about
ults versus one?
Yeah, it was
that's
there for
kind of
you.
there for us, yeah. Like, it felt to be honest.
I mean, if you watch the fight, it would turn out it wasn't there for you, but in theory. But how do you feel about the tournament overall? Like, happy with where you finished, or?
It's been, I don't know if bittersweet's the right way to put it. I think if you asked me before the tournament about our final placement, I'd be happy with it. But if you ask me after the tournament about our final placement, I'm a little bit less satisfied with it, I suppose. I suppose we've got like a general philosophy about like where our team is at and how we're approaching the pro circuit for the year, to be honest. And if you think about that philosophy and where a lot of our heads are at in terms of, how we think about the team and whatnot, it's kind of impossible to be like super disappointed with an average result at a tournament, to come sixth is like, or fifth, sixth is whatever. But that particular match, like that once again match, it felt like it was just, it was very winnable, to be honest. Like the first map was just fucking given away to the fact that we couldn't even fucking hear. The second map, I don't know, maybe people were a little boomed off the first. Maybe we walked out on a comp that we explicitly kind of said we weren't going to do, and we had a really direct plan and we banned for the plan and then didn't do it. But, I wouldn't know much about that. I'm only the coach that submits the bans. But then, map 3, we won. And map 4, we had a lead for the entire fucking series, and we had 3 ults versus 1 in the final fight, and we pissed it away. We could call it choked. Perhaps the lights are a little bit bright.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Is it time to bring in the choker narrative for SSG?
I think so.
Tell us, what do you think?
We
I
all
think, spin it up.
all this talk about Nightmare being chokers. We talk about the SSG choke. First,
Let's
you're
talk
throwing
about
away
it.
the series against us in the grand final, just dropping the spaghetti everywhere, and you're coming at us. And now this, I think it might be time to spin a few webs. In the opposite
Honestly,
direction.
mate, I'd like to pass the the spider's torch to you and see what you can spin up throughout the
spider's
stage. But we'll see whether you can push a narrative or two over the course of the stage. But I do think that overall, like that series was just a little bit more winnable than we all expected at the end of the day. We would scrim once again, and it would always be a fucking dogfight, and we'd always be playing the same damn thing, and we'd always win the maps with Liga and go a little bit negative on the maps with Gushue.
Yeah,
And like
same.
the fact that we got full held on a Liga map, we should all just fucking retire, to be honest. Like that was so fucking bad. Like we really had a plan for it, and they were playing the guy that just never wins a map and is so fucking just doesn't get it done, and it just didn't work for us, to be honest. Respect to all my Chinese fans out there, obviously, that just disappeared into a puff of smoke as I said that Liga wasn't very good. But anyway, like we would always win the Liga maps, and our whole draft and our whole plan was based around let's get as many Liga maps as possible. And we had a plan for all the comps, but on map 2 we just didn't do it. Like we just didn't fucking do it. It really pissed me off. But anyway, we just didn't do what our plan was for map 2, so we got full hell playing something that we're not very comfortable on. And then map 3, we were back to it and we were good for it. And map 4, we were close enough to being good for it. But just like wrap up for the tournament, should have finished seed 1 in A if we wanted the easier run, to be honest. Because
How much do you think it cost you at the end?
That's a place, like I don't think we would have beaten. I don't think we would have replicated the Nightmare result. Like I don't think we would have beaten Crazy Raccoon in a first of 3. But it would have been a place or 2, right? Like I think I'm fairly confident. Yeah, fairly confident that we would have beaten VP, and then I think we could have gone top 3 as well. Like I think that the OA situation.
You would have played once again there. Yeah.
Yeah, we would have played once again, and that could have gone either way, to be honest. Because again, like getting dicked around on stage and not being able to hear, and then not playing what we very, very briefly practiced probably wasn't ideal as well. But again, like these things fall on me, to be honest. Maybe the audio stuff on map 1, I can't really fix that. I tried really hard to fix that on stage. Like I tried really hard, but if I wasn't a cuck, I would have just like said, guys, refuse to play. Unfortunately, I just really like chairs to give a good view of the game, so I just sat down behind them and kept my mouth shut and watched. But yeah, if I wasn't a cuck, maybe we could have had a bit of a better performance on map 1, and on map 2, like we had a plan and it was articulated. But if I was a proper coach rather than a Mickey Mouse coach, it would have been like clear enough that we'd actually walk out of the spawn on it, which could have helped, to be honest.
Yeah, I know you said you had like a comp against the Diva comp, but like
yeah, we were
this
just
guy only plays
like,
Diva, right? Like surely if you see him subbed in for map 2, Kings Row, like you just ban Diva. What does he play?
No, we had like 100% win rate versus Diva doing what we were doing.
Yeah,
and we just decided not to do it.
Winston?
It was
It was like a Sim Torb comp, right?
It was really dumb. It was Winston, Sim, May, Lucia, Kiri, and we never lost to a Diva comp for like a full week playing it. It sounds really dumb and like has no legs, like no fundamentals, but like nothing dies. Nothing dies to the Diva. And anytime the Diva goes anywhere, there's Sim May that can shoot on, and the Sim just bops around the map and is incredibly fucking annoying. And you have really good point touch, and no backliners die, so it's actually pretty good. But we just didn't do it. Because we walked into the map and we were like, how's this pretty good on first point? Maybe I'll play Brig then. It was just like one by one, like the pieces as we load into the map, it's like doubts start to form. We haven't practiced it very much. It's a bit goofy, and we just get cold feet. Play one fight of Sim with no May. It's like, maybe I won't play May here. Maybe I'll just play Genji because Genji's good in the Diva, and it's like, we had something that worked and we just didn't fucking do it. It's cowardice, The only reason I banned Farah is so we could play Sim May. And then we're like, fuck it. Like, I should just ban Diva then,
This is a theme, some kind of cold feet. We cast our minds back to the infamous Ash ban. It just seems any time, there's always a plan A. And plan A on paper seems perfectly fine. But as soon as it gets time to do plan A, no one's that interested in plan A anymore. Minds are easily changed.
I think this is like largely my fault, to be honest, though. Like this specific thing, like I just could be stronger about it, Just be like, instead of saying once what we're going to do, like actually have a plan and a review before the match, what we talk about, what we're going to do that makes it a bit more clear. Because, playing it for like 15 maps in scrims in the lead up isn't quite enough, Like you actually do need to get people in the zone on match day. And we weren't really all about that, to be honest. We were more about taking the piss.
Max, mate, if only you were as confident on your own comps as you were about fucking Tracer and Junkertown, you'd be a fucking hell of a coach. You got all the confidence in the world on my comps. You know exactly what you need, what I need to do. Just so much harder with yours,
Yeah, it is what it is, Still should have played that Tracer. But
Don't let it go.
So overall, it's a bit of a disappointing end, but you basically get what you pay for.
Yeah.
This
is how the cookie crumbles, I guess.
I feel like the only thing, and we'll probably talk about it later, is it feels like the way that the tournament ended up going is you kind of wanted to see like this, like OA, SSG, VP, Nightmare all play each other to really figure out like who was the best of the rest.
He's got none of those because of Nightmare's result.
Yeah, because Nightmare won, Crazy Raccoon just went through and just fucking like just knocked everyone out of like losers immediately, and you kind of missed. I guess we missed what we would, some of the matchups we would have maybe liked to see. I think everyone would have liked to see VP versus I guess both of you guys, like we didn't get any NA versus EU, right?
Yeah.
Like, 'cause,
we would have won that, dude. EU was pretty weak this tournament, man.
yeah, I mean, I think this was clearly such a Winston favored tournament that it was. Yeah, I think EU. This was not a good role for the teams that qualified.
Falcons came top 2 with Mickey Mouse on Winston.
Yeah, but they always do, mate.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was a fucking Christmas miracle that Falcons beat OA in the uppers.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that map 5 was actually, it was genuinely Christmas.
That was just,
Easter miracle.
just
you could
a
argue.
criminal. Yeah, no, an Easter miracle. Like, he is risen type shit, because that Ajax from Mew was just the most serious losing mistake of all
Put
time.
himself on the cross, you know.
Mew tried to sacrifice himself for all of our sins, but
Fuck, that would have been nice versing once again in the upper bracket to go to grand finals. I think we would have fucking had their number. Like, whenever we played the Hazard comp into the monkey,
you would play
like,
Hazard exactly.
yeah,
the whole
we would
thing.
fuck them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like OA especially, I don't know if we're going to skip the order, but with like OA, when they were on, they looked like outrageously on, you know? Like, I think in the first few maps against ZMAX, they just like, they're just in full state, you know? And like the same against VP, they're fully in. And it feels like somewhere like you kind of saw when they, I mean,
The potential.
What a fucking surprise. Once they played a comp with Goucheray on Winston, they looked pretty good. Like fucking
Yeah.
Rush should have been playing some of those comps when he was in charge of them, you know, would have been a good idea. So I don't know. I feel like OA was the type of team that, like, to be honest, what the result that shocked me the most was how much OA got blown out by Crazy Raccoons on all of those comps. Because I felt like that was, I mean, they had some sort
Their
of
comp
talk
to
about,
win on.
yeah, it feels like the way that they looked like they could go head to head with Falcons in a lot of these maps, which they definitely could. I really thought even on like the Divey Dive versus Crazy Raccoons, I felt they were going to give them a good go, but when we watched it, it didn't feel that good to go.
I don't think the OA was actually all that good versus like other stuff, you know, if that makes sense. So like when
Yeah.
Falcons was doing other stuff, it was just good for them. But like Crazy Raccoon is really good at a bunch of different stuff, you know. Like they can just win the mirror, to be honest. Like, you know, like Crazy Raccoon is a better Winston dive team than us, you know. But like if we were playing like really, really close in like Winston Lucio Kiri versus, once again, you know, like it comes down to a 1-fight margin, and Falcons is like playing incredibly close, playing fucking Malga in big 2025, you know, like neither, once again, is just like a level below that, to be honest. It's more like my feeling. I don't think that once again is like actually like that competitive at that top tier if you're talking about Winston, you know. The problem is that Falcons doesn't have a Winston player, they have Hanban.
Because I'm trying to remember, I'm sure I watched it, but Crazy Raccoon mirrored the Winston on a few of the maps, right? Against Once Again. And kind of, am I getting that wrong?
they played. It was the
remember.
Winston mirror on maps 2 and 3. On map 1, it was
smoked them
Ilios, and
out.
they did the ball comp, but the rest of it was Crazy Raccoon won a Kiri Lucio mirror on Suravasa, like 3-0 as well, like obliterated them.
And then it was
At
Anna
which
Brigg
point-
mirror.
Then Anna Brigg on route, but that also felt like we hadn't seen Once Again really play Anna Brigg at all in the tournaments, and that felt like, oh fuck, we can't play Kiri Lucio. What's our best comp? Let's just try and change it and see if we get any sort of different results. But kind of got blown out of water on both of them.
Yeah, I think to me these maps are the ones that I guess I was wrong, but I thought Once Again would punch back harder. It felt like the nature of like these Winston comps, there was quite a few matches where you felt it would be closer and it just ended up being like really not, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it would have been nice to see Once Again versus, well, Once Again played against SSG and VP, right? So they only didn't get Nightmare.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, the VP game ended up being a bit weird because they actually just smashed them out.
Yeah,
of the
it was
water in
like
2
that.
maps.
That's
It
what
didn't,
really,
it didn't even feel like a series, right? It didn't feel
Yeah.
like VP turned up at all for that. So it was very easy for Once Again.
Maybe that's where I get some of the Once Again hype train, is because some of the series they just no one was able to shoot back, you know.
Yeah. I think that like that day 2 is just so hard, right? Like they have to play 3 games three games in one day on land to try and make it to the next day. Like they're gonna be so fucking tired by the final game. Like it showed, because like their first series they were fucking, you know, so close to beating Falcons, and then by the end of the day they just get fucking rolled over. You know, it wasn't even remotely close.
I think
Yeah, I
they
mean,
said
they were
it
talking.
as well.
Yeah,
I
they were
can't-
talking stamina.
Hmm. Yeah, I can't remember who it was
You can-
exactly, but they posted or someone posted like a translation of some of the players talking after the game. They talked about like they internally felt like they just didn't have the stamina for the whole day. So by the time they got to that third game, which is also their toughest
The
game of the
hardest
day,
game. Yeah.
and they've actually, they had that nail biter with Falcons. Probably feel like fuck, we should have won that. Then they have actually a pretty tough game with SSG by the end of it, right? Like I think that Esperanza, especially if they lose that map, it's another 5-mapper series all out. And then they've got
they barely
Crazy Raccoon to finish it off. It's really tough.
Yeah.
They barely had the stamina to finish our series, to be honest. You know, like by the time
I think
they were on
if-
Esperanza, the gap.
If they lose that,
I think they lose the
Esperanza, I think
series.
they
Yeah, I think
lose
they lose
map
the series for
5
sure.
because it would just be Kiri Lucio again, right? Their map pick, and it's actually just
Yeah, like they
more
would
of the same.
force
Yeah.
they would force the same matchup on map 5. They're like on like a downwards mental trajectory. I think 100% we win that if it goes to map 5. Fortunately, it didn't. You know.
Yeah, I think they were pretty good this tournament, but I wanted to verse them. Like that would have made our top 3 run even. cooler.
Yeah, to be fair, I guess once again also had so many things in their favor this tournament too, right? Like a heavy Winston meta seems pretty helpful for that team. They had all the mix amp help in the world, which seems helpful. They had the home crowd, which seems helpful. So it feels like in a lot of ways this is one of those tournaments where they should perform. And I don't think they'll be too disappointed with it, but maybe there could have been like maybe the word on the street from scrims and stuff is you could have expected slightly more, maybe.
They just had to win against Falcons. Like
Yeah.
losing
Yeah.
at map 5 in that way and then having to play 2 more series to try and survive the day. That's just so hard. Like that would be so exhausting losing the first game and then keep playing all fucking day.
Was the crowd like when you guys both played against Chinese teams? I think you played against both of them, right, Max? Did it feel like
Yeah.
when you were playing against the Chinese teams, you were like up against the crowd as well? Like the crowd were giving you shit, or like really, obviously one-sided in their favor?
They were really one-sided in their favor, but it never felt like we were up against the crowd, to be honest. Perhaps it's just the Chinese people are very respectful. So
Yeah.
like
They are.
we were never getting like booed, and it never really felt like they were cheering against us. It always just felt like they were cheering for once again,
big
if that makes
support.
sense. And it's like I remember like on Esperanza, like Seeker's first clock, he hit like a sick one. I think he got like a 3 or a 4K, and it's like pretty sure the crowd was cheering for him. You know, it's like fuck it, dude. Like he killed a bunch.
It's
like
pretty
you know,
good.
credit where it's due. You know, like it was like
I do like headshots.
yeah.
I think they just
But,
wanted to watch some good Overwatch.
Exactly, but they were like 95% once again scrimmers for sure.
Yeah, I think overall though it's probably like a pretty respectable sort of return to Overwatch for the Chinese. Well, mainly for once again in particular, and feels like we've now just gained like a team that is in and around like somewhere towards the top of the outside Korea.
Yeah, it gives you
outside
more
Korea
fixtures that you
rankings.
look forward to, right? Like it's like when you see once again versus SSG, I think there was very few matchups which you weren't interested in watching. It was maybe only Team CC. You was like, oh, who gives a fuck
Yeah.
what's going to happen here?
Yeah.
And I think that's overall that's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone really has anything to add about Team CC. Obviously, came into the tournament as everyone expects them to be the worst team. They don't win any maps. They go home very quickly. I mean, nice enough to have a Chinese team play in front of a Chinese crowd and all that, but not really a big impact on the tournament at all.
Nope.
Yeah.
And similarly, another region that didn't have a huge impact on the tournament at all was actually all of EMEA. Pretty disappointing, I think. Probably we'll talk about disappointments from this tournament, and maybe EMEA is going to be the most disappointed. Virtus Pro finished, was it 5th/6th in the end? But I think maybe in particular, if I'm Virtus Pro, there's the positives that we took a map of Crazy Raccoon, maybe even could have got a second one forced to map 5, and a meta that really favours Crazy Raccoon quite heavily. But the once again result is probably the real disappointing one, right? Where it's just, it didn't even look like they turned up to play even remotely competitive. They just get blown out of the water. They come in with map pick advantage as well, ban advantage. And I think this is the big missed opportunity for Virtus Pro.
Yeah, I really felt like this one was just like the biggest indictment on Europe of all. You know, I remember like arguing with Smash like heaps before this match about like what they should do for the map 1 draft, you know, because I wanted VP to beat once again so we wouldn't have to play them, because I thought if VP beat once again in the first round, then they would lose to Falcons in the second and we would get to play VP and it would fix our bracket and make it no longer hard. And I remember like actually thinking probably more deeply about Smash's draft in the first game than our own, because we
That's
were
classic
so
Umax,
fuck
mate.
that.
Always over people's drafts. That's
Yeah.
subject.
You know how it goes. You know, just focus on the winnable battles. You know, and you know, cuFFa perceived a winnable battle, but you know what? I didn't see the vision on that one. I just saw a map 1 Ilios where we don't get to pick the map, and they are going to ban Monkey, and we are going to get face fucked. And you know what? Like that works for me. I actually did not focus very much on the Ilios map 1 Crazy Raccoon draft at all, because because we were so low seeded, it was actually really hard to focus on map 1 drafts generally, because it was completely impossible for us to ever pick map 1 or get a first ban as we were 7th seed. But anyway, I remember arguing with Smash Heaps about the map 1 draft, because I thought that they should go Ilios and ban Monkey, because they had fucking first map pick and first ban. So and you don't even need to ban Monkey on Ilios is the thing, because if you see Liga is in, then you ban Diva and you play Horse or something and you just win with that. So like I felt that map 1 was a really easy condition to force a Liga map. And if you can force a map 1 Liga map, then you can force a map 3 Liga map if you lose map 2. So then it doesn't even matter that you can't ban Monkey. You just get to force a win condition no matter what in a first to 3. Something that you can't do in a first to 5. In a first to 2. There's something you can't do in a first to 3. But they decided to go with Li Jiang anyway, and they got absolutely fucking shit stomped. And I was like, God damn
What
it,
did they
man.
pick
Like,
for map 2? Did they do Circuit?
they lost Circuit.
Yeah, it was
And then they
Circuit.
lost Circuit as well. Yeah,
Well,
which
they had,
was
like-
a real indictment.
Well, to be honest, then Max is 4,000% right here, because their strategy makes no sense. If your loser pick is going to be Circuit, where you don't need the Winston ban, then you have to use it on map 1 because you can't get it on map 3, right? They'll just protect it and they'll ban your tank. So with the way that they go in this best of, because this was first to 2, right? Like,
Yeah.
VP were never getting a Winston ban unless they used it on map 1. Even Li Jiang Winston ban seems really fine, right? Like what was
it was just like they really
play,
knew.
Right? Yeah.
They really knew that like Liga played Diva on Ilios, so it was like, why the fuck wouldn't you just pick a map where you know Liga plays for map 1, and then
Ban him.
on like it saves a Monkey ban for later. If they play the Monkey guy on that map, then just ban it, and if they don't, then congrats, you have it for later. You know, you have it for your map 3.
Yeah, I guess the
just like-
argument would be if they won map 1, then they would be able to ban Winston on map 3. So it's like what I'm saying is only
exactly.
true if they lose. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
guess
And
actually,
there is an element of feeling that we pick Li Jiang Tower, so if there's a map where it's going to be hard to play Winston, Kiri, Lucio. Like when I saw those comps roll out of Spawn, I felt pretty good for Virtus Pro, right? Like, they're going to play Winston, Kiri, Lucio on Li Jiang Tower. It's like, this Monkey's going to die. The first fight's going to be an absolute nightmare for Gushwei here. Unfortunately, just every time Gushwei press shift, they immediately they killed someone in that first engage every single time.
They had like a
right,
proof of
actually.
concept. That's new for Chris to think that he's right. But there's like a new proof of concept with it where it's like, you know, they played T1, right? And like they instantly got T1 off Monkey. Like they beat Monkey on Li Jiang by playing exactly what they played down the line. But the thing is, like, OA probably had a bit of footage to study of that one cough point, and you know they probably could like really easily figure out what the plan was going into it, either through scrim leaks, which probably don't exist for Chinese teams because they've got no mates, or you know, it's not like it's not an indictment on the Chinese people. They're just, you know, like they're probably not getting scrim leaks from the Koreans. Let's be honest. You usually get, you know, they're not getting scrim leaks from Team CC. Nobody wanted to scrim them. But yeah, like they'd already seen it. It wasn't a surprise anymore, and maybe they're just a better Monkey team than T1, you know? Maybe they're just a bit better at that. But even then, like, it was just a fucking colossally shit performance from VP, you know? Like, they lost the Sigma Mirror as well. Like, we won the Sigma Mirror the following day. Did we not?
They didn't get a
they
Sigma
played.
Mirror. They played Sigma
Diva.
into the Diva
Into
comp,
Diva.
and they just got... Like, it was close, right? Like, it
Obliterated.
was like both teams... It finished on third point, I think, for both teams. Or both teams got to third at least, so it was like... It was closer... But if you're Virtus Pro, like fuck me, you have to win Circuit. If you can't win Circuit against any of these teams around you, like the whole thing's fucked.
Did we play Sig and Adiva as well, actually? Did we play Sig and May or something? I can't remember.
I
think I'm-
probably.
Yeah, I think you did. But to be
I
fair,
can't remember.
you didn't cap second, right? Against once again on Circuit, you got like held. Your attack was pretty weak, but then you hit them with like the fuller hold.
Yeah, we had like a hard, like a full defense hold
Yeah.
You played Sigma on the defense, yeah, but you played Winston on the attack.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Because our attack was pretty wank, and I remember they got like a 4K barrage right at the end of it. Like it just like instantly fucking wiped us with the barrage. But yeah, overall, just like for VP's general strategy, it felt like there was like a real win condition there with the bans because of the fact that they could force maps where it's like they back themselves in the off tank mirror, and then they can just ban Gushwei once, like go to a Gushwei map, have a Winston ban available, but they just kind of didn't do that, right? Like they just lost a Winston map where they didn't ban Gushwei's hero, and then they lost Circuit. And losing Circuit was the criminal one, to be honest, more than anything else.
Yeah.
Because like you can really see the case for their Lijiang strategy because of their T1 match, but they just look fucking weak by virtue of losing to Liga on.
Yeah. And it'd be interesting to see what they say about it, but I kind of expect that they would just say, yeah, it was just a shit performance, like we didn't turn up at all. Like,
I mean, it's
doesn't
like they
matter
lost
what the
to
comps or the bans were. We play like that. We're not beating anyone at this tournament type thing.
They lost to T1 really hard as well too, didn't they? Like on that map,
4-0, wasn't it? Yeah.
there was a Juno Brig mirror, and I remember they got like actually face fucked. Like Skewed was just fucking sticking it, and poor little Fixer dude, he was getting his revenge for all of those career misgivings. Like it was good. It was real good Overwatch. But yeah, I don't know. They just went back to the same thing.
It's like a little awkward for like Ilios pick for them, I guess, though, because like they don't have a monkey player, and if they want to force, like if League is in and they ban Diva, like what are VP playing themselves on that map?
Hazard.
Just play Hazard or Horse.
Yeah, but like, do we know if they played like that on that map? Like, I don't really know. Like, is that really like a favorable match?
They were just like, I just think they were like spamming it everywhere. It's like an equally bad situation for Liga, and
it's one of those where
we think League's bad, so yeah.
It's one of those where it's like a really on paper really smart thing, but it's also really like you guys will feel it too. It's really hard to pick something that you also don't have confidence in. Pick something which is bad for us but worse for them. I think you always, as a coach, just pick something which is good for us because you feel like everyone's going to be confident on it. It's really you have to be really brave to make the decision to like fuck yourself to fuck them harder.
I think you're right there, and I think that would have been the issue that they had, where it's like it's not like they weren't aware of this as their option. It's just the option that they didn't have the strength to choose because it doesn't feel good, right? Like. And I mean, I get it, right? Like, you'd never catch me banning. I remember we talked about this in the dugout for OA as well, like pre-match, we were talking about like, if we wind up in this situation, like, we might be like overcooking here, but like, should we ban Monkey here? And it's like,
we were discussing that when we were watching Because me and X, when we were watching it, we were saying the same thing. It's like, especially because of how map 1 went, you thought, fuck, like, is Max brave enough to do the Winston ban here? Because it feels like it would be logical if you're getting smashed on Winston to ban Winston, but at the same time, you cut your team's legs off immediately there because that's all you have confidence on. So it's really, really difficult. And the same reason why, like, once again, we're never going to ban Winston when they were getting smoked by crazy Raccoons. Even if someone from the outside can see it as the right decision, it's really hard I need to ban my biggest strength. What that translates to your players is, we're fucked here, boys, it's really hard. You need to believe that you can win like at least one meaningful mirror or like one strong matchup. For VP, like they were just spamming Horse for a week straight, so I figured they had like a bit of a cheese pick available to them where they could make that work, bit of Horse, bit of I think you can do Horse on 2 out of 3 on Ilios and then just play Hazard for the other one and call it a day. But at the when push comes to shove, like it's just it requires a lot of strength to ban something off. Like they obviously want to play Diva 2. They're a Diva team, so it makes sense that they would wind up in that situation. Just their overall result, losing on their Orisa comp to Monkey, was like, fuck, not a great performance from them. Not a great performance at all. Losing the Sigma mirror to someone that they thought was bad, like not ideal. Real.
Yeah, it was interesting as well because they go on to lose Circuit Royale against Crazy Raccoon as well. So they actually come away from this tournament like losing both of the key Circuit Royales. They do get the win on King's Row. Maybe this is where the theme started to appear a little bit now. These Korean teams, whatever it is, can't win a King's Row to save their lives against a lot of teams. Always seem a bit more vulnerable in that map than others. But there was some redemption there from VP, right? Like you lose a Circuit Royale close, you take King's Row off them. All of a sudden, it feels like there was at least something there.
Yeah.
It's funny because we were like arguing about King's Row as well, like as our map 2 pick versus Crazy Raccoon. And we were like, we've got 2 options here. It's like we can go to Esper and we can play like what is our biggest strength, like where we have like the most confidence and like one of our best maps and like where we really feel like we've got a good thing going. Or we can go to King's Row where they're going to put Max in and we'll probably have our best chance based on that. But we're like, fuck, we're using the Faraband on map 1 to try and win Ilios. So it's like we don't really want to do like what we do on King's Row with Fire being available to Heesung. So fuck it. But then in hindsight, going to a Max map is actually the best fucking strategy possible.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we went to a Liga map the following day and, out of respect, decided to do something completely different with the Faraband.
Yeah. I think it's
these things can happen. These things can happen when your coach is a bomb.
it's so hard with like map picks and bans against Crazy Raccoons because like you have to
They
pick
have a lot of
King's Row
options.
in
Yeah.
the series, otherwise you're fucked. Because like if you don't pick King's Row, they just have Blizzard World or Servasa available, and you're just fucked. Like you just have to pick King's Row. You have to win King's Row.
Can we
Like-
talk too? Can we give a shout out to hero bans? Because I feel like it actually makes like even these discussions and everything so much better. Like if this was a no hero bans tournament, it would have just been like there's like podcast would be fucking over by now, whereas like there's so many little like decisions and discussions which just like the one hero ban like creates. I feel like it's so much better, So
Yeah.
shout out hero bans.
Yeah, shout out hero bands.
It just makes it
Shout
like
out hero bans.
Shame on
shout out
anyone
hero
who was
bands.
opposed to them.
You could just like get like free map wins. I feel like with hero bans against some teams, like if you just ban them off like their best hero and they can't play like a different tank that like is good on the map, you just like could easily win. I feel like
Yeah. I feel like somewhere like to bring it back to VP, and maybe this is like one of those things where like we obviously have to admit we probably missed the mark on VP at the start of the season. And I think they've done like insanely well, but it does feel like maybe the criticism we would have had about them in terms of their inability to do anything remotely dive, like that felt like internationally that got shown up like semi-significantly. Because I think I probably agree with Max that I think if SSG, like if I was coaching SSG versus VP, I think your draft and way to win feels so much easier than theirs, like they have to really worry about all sorts. And it feels like one thing to both NA teams' credit is they could at least play dive, like I mean, like cuFFa, you fucking beat Crazy Raccoons on dive, like it's whereas I think still like both EU teams would have had to throw so many curveballs and bans to get away from it that
honest question here. I saw Marky Source OW, one of the
Legend.
all-time greats. He did a like best and worst of the week, and he put us in worst of the week. Like, is it that bad? Is it that bad to lose to Crazy Raccoon and once again in a monkey mirror? Like,
no, I don't think so. I
are
think
we,
you guys just, like,
are we worst of
Yours
the
is
week?
like no, yours is just like average performance. You know what I mean? Like
just
Yeah.
uninspiring.
lose to the
Like,
top
just
teams
like,
with,
yeah, beat CC.
just like your best comp is monkey, and you're versing like a hard monkey one-trick team.
You're versing
it's just a
like
better
one of the
monkey
most
team than you.
storied monkey one-trick
Yeah.
teams in the whole world.
I feel like
We did
you
lose
guys
our King's
play-
Row. Though. We did lose our King's Row.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like the hazard is so
I like the
good
way that-
to monkey in the mirror, like Lucio King.
I mean, we just.
I like the way fucking here, little Marky. Like you guys were like so close to once again's result, but here they are in best of the week getting sucked off, and you guys are being. Everyone knows why Marky Source has got it the way it is, but we'll save that for the Q&A.
This is a good time to mention that you can give us money on Patreon to hear us insulting Marky Source very, very aggressively in a manner.
It will be aggressive. Don't fucking worry about that. No holds barred.
Xavier's the expert on how much money per month it costs to get access to that, but rest assured, in next month's Q&A, Marky Source is going to get an absolute fucking blasting.
He's gonna be getting a belting.
if you wanna be nice and ready for that blasting, as hopefully Marky Source will be, you can sign up right now, and that episode will come out in about a week or so you'll have full access to that as soon as it comes out. So stay tuned for that blasting. And just a reminder, Unter does have hepatitis, so there might be some checks you need to do after that blasting. Also, on the disappointing camp, maybe close to expectations, but I think still disappointing. Al Qadsiah, they come in, they take a map off Falcons, so expectations rise. But for them, You lose to Falcons, it can happen. But going 3-0 against Virtus Pro in the lower bracket, getting sent home day one, people would have expected Virtus Pro to win. But the fact that this wasn't as close as a lot of series we've seen them play in the regular season over in EMEA probably feels like particularly poor for them. And even though they weren't expected to do a lot in this tournament, maybe it still feels disappointing. Maybe not the placement, but just the fashion they went out in.
It's like for them it feels really shit because like every time you go in nationals, like you really want to play against as many teams as possible, and then just to get one of the Korean teams, which is almost always a guaranteed loss, into an EU matchup, it probably feels really, really shitty for them. You know, like I don't know if they were necessarily like good enough to beat any of the other teams. I guess you would probably feel the answer no, considering VP also didn't feel that competitive. But like that'll be the worst for them, is they'll be like, oh fuck, I didn't even get to play anyone, you know? At least they got to play China though.
I think it was like boring for spectators just to see like the EU finals rematch, but I don't think that Al Qad would have beaten a single team at that tournament other than Team CC.
Yeah.
I think Al Qad and Team CC were like rightfully at the bottom of the rankings. Honestly. And I think us and VP were also in the right position. Like I think where everyone finished, like actually quite closely matched up to like where people were like appraised skill wise. I think like Nightmare has like always been known as a team that is like quite insane in scrims, to be honest. And they actually just played insane in a match. They just played
for once. It didn't show, you know, those fucking
bastards. They won the.
Are you saying it was some kind of fluke performance, Max?
It's a fluke that they played as good as they are. You know, like nothing is luckier than that. But I think like Nightmare like really played to the level that people have been like, you know, hyping them up in scrims to be at this whole year.
Well, not everyone, mate. Not everyone's been hyping them up.
I mean, everyone said that they're scrim gods, you know, like true.
Not everyone. Well,
they're shit.
I got Ice Gnome fucking up my
You
ass.
got Ice fucking
mate. He's on your game.
Literally never talked to that kind of my life. I just opened Twitter and fucking see that. I'm like, what the fuck is this saying?
But, yeah, like the fact that OA could go that close with Falcons tells you that OA is really fucking good at something. You know, like they could take Falcons to a map 5. That means that they're really fucking good at something. And the fact that we didn't have like that level of performance, VP got absolutely fucking dominated by OA, tells you that I think the rankings are actually like really quite good for the whole tournament. Like nobody got cucked by the bracket to some outrageous extent. I think we would have stolen a deeper placement had we had the other side of it, you know? If we'd had the, you know, the easy side, or if we'd been able to play one of VP or what would it be, Al Qad or something to go deeper. Yeah. If we've been able to play one of those teams to like sneak our way a bit deeper into the bracket, then sure, we might have finished like a placement higher. But overall, like it all seemed pretty accurate, to be honest.
Yeah, I think like teams like comps just like what they could play was just like where they could place, you know what I mean? Like you guys were really good at the monkey comp, but you couldn't really play that much outside of that. And like there's just teams in the tournament that are just better at you at monkey comp. And then like the EU teams, like they can play brawl and they can play like off tanks, but they just can't play dive. And like that's just gonna be like a big weakness. Like they always have to worry about ban draft surrounding Winston comps and stuff. Like you don't have to worry about that if you can play everything.
Not next tournament. There's one EU team that's going to take over the fucking world on dive, okay? So just
I've heard this before.
One. Yeah.
It sounds a little bit like your opening
Chrissy's
speech for
figured
stage
it out.
1 as well.
Chrissy's genuinely figured it out. Do you remember at the start of the year, he was like, we're going to mirror the fucking Koreans on dive. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He's realised the way that you mirror the fucking Koreans on dive is get a Korean main tank.
Yeah. Well, in my justification, I was actually right strategically. I just couldn't do it, you know? But like, it was actually better to beat the Koreans and just fucking mirror them on the comps and just outplay them, as opposed to trying to do what we were doing where we're playing fucking Lucio Bap and fucking permanently and just getting fucking straight finger blasted, you know? So I saw the vision, just couldn't quite execute it. But that's how it goes sometimes. Next stage, I'm executing, mate. Call me the executioner, okay?
Call it the executioner.
I will call you the executioner.
The other thing maybe to mention about Al Qad, and it's probably a bit of a surprise to at least people outside for scrim stuff, is that Tread actually started 90% of the games. Only ZETA only played the final map of that Virtus Pro series, which
looked way closer too.
Yeah, but it's kind of because people were obviously like, once we were in the lower bracket and people were like, where's the ad? Where's the ad? Where's the ad? I was like, guys, literally 4 hours ago, Tread took a map off Falcons. Like, are we not like just we're really seasawing here? So I don't know if there's any like behind the scenes of it, but my understanding of how
someone tweeted it. No, that there was someone fucking tweeted it. Someone tweeted it, and it was from LBBD stream. Did you not see this? You didn't see the juice?
No.
Anyway, I can't find it. You definitely won't be able to find it. It'll be deleted now. But they said that the reason the reason Tread played was because Junkbuck and Ziad had like a personality thing, like an attitude thing. They said it, and that's what it came from. Someone translating LBBD's stream onto the internet. So it's probably a fucking solid source. But that's what they said happened. It wasn't because they thought like Tread was better necessarily. It was like there was some sort of internal stuff going on there.
Yeah, I've seen that too. He's not just making it up. Yeah, he's not just making it up. I can't speak to the validity of the source or anything, but I mean, he's not just making it up that he read a translation to somebody else talking on a stream about it. So
that would be weird to kind of make up, you know? Like, even for me, it would be like... That would be like some professionals. Like, if I was a good spin doctor, I could use that, you know? Like, I saw something's over there that he's fucking shit, you know? But no, unfortunately, this one's real.
Yeah.
Also, really
can we just...
Oh, sorry. Huh?
I was going to say, can we just take a fucking step back here, Xavier? You said that Tread took a map off Falcons a few hours earlier. LBBD took a map off Falcons a few hours earlier. Tread was just there specking. No hate on Tread or anything like that, but we saw that map win. That had nothing to do with the tank. That had nothing to do with Tread being in the server. Yeah, LBBD quite literally good for it. Every year, there's a fucking chosen one. There's a Saudi player that is just the best of the best. Again and again and again. There was a year of LBBD. There's a year of Quartz. There was a year of UB. They get 1 year, and this is the year of the LBBD right here. It's actually ridiculous.
He's actually better than Quartz at Hitscan, right? Like, it's actually just true.
They're good for a year.
Yeah, like Quartz was actually like the greatest hit scan in the world, like the biggest like talent going into the season. Whoever gets like if TM get Quartz together, but LBBD is actually just better. I think he's like you actually just can't deny his performances. I swear he's just the best hit scan.
Well, I don't think anyone's ever received so much praise when they go to a major and only win one map.
That's true.
You know, like normally that doesn't lead to a lot of positive feedback. But you're right. Like that's Suravasa especially, but even throughout the rest of it, he just looked good for it every single time.
Like even through the EU season, it was like, oh, like the first game they played, oh, he's kind of shitting on him there, and then it was just like, oh yeah, LBBD just shit on him.
It became
every game, and it was like in playoffs, oh yeah, LBBD just shat on everyone. Like he's just fucking unironically next up. Or maybe he's up. Like maybe he's just, I don't know, maybe, I don't know how far you can go with the glazing, but he's like unironically the best DPS in the EU. I actually feel like if you just view his performances, I don't even know if you can argue with it. He's fucking insane, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. He played pretty fucking good. I don't really have like enough attention to the body of his work.
His body's unreal, mate. Like a proper good body.
Yeah, he's fucking banging bod.
Banging bod, mate.
LBBD, you heard it here first.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's that crazy a take because he does just keep looking like the best player in the lobby in every game he plays. And then eventually, if you keep doing that for long enough, you probably just are the best player.
Well, you certainly can't be like Nightmare and fluke it once, you know, if you keep doing it over and over.
It's against Falcons, right? So we really hard to argue against just the quality of the players here or anything like this, you know? Like these guys are the best in the world, and poor bloody Chio on that Suravasa didn't have a head for 90% of it. Couldn't get away.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty weird. Like they play Monkey like all fucking the time, every fucking Suravasa and scrims and shit, and then they just roll out D.Va and like toss the first 2 rounds and then finally swap Monkey. Like surely if they just start the Monkey, what they usually play, that's like a bit of a different map.
But surely, I don't know, surely they should also be good in the mirror, right?
Oh yeah, they should be good for it.
Should be good for that.
Yeah. That's like the EU special though, no? Like just the D.Va fucking mirror, just every fucking day, just 6 hours of D.Va mirror.
should we talk a little bit about Falcons then? Because we were promised a secret weapon by Smash. Which one was the secret weapon? Now they occasionally play D.Va, or now they just, despite all odds, went, this Mauga guy's pretty good still, I reckon. Probably get us to the finals at least on this Mauga. We'll just keep doing it again. Because, I don't know, I was, we've had the Mauga conversation before. I don't mind watching Mauga, but I was still shocked how much they ran it and how successful it was.
I really thought Blizzard just
kneecapped.
fucking killed him, but not even. He's unkillable, that guy. Like, he's just a fucking machine. He'll never die.
I'm so sure that win genuinely had just 0% to do with the tank pick, dude. Like, I just refuse to fucking believe that Mauga is it, Like, I think it's so fucking bad. Once again, just, like, genuinely tossed up the wall. Like, this map, like, Ana's available, right? Like, they're playing Lucio Kiri into the Mauga when, like, there's an Ana available for them, perhaps, and they're still just shit stomping. It took Hambin like a year to build a cage, and he cage axes instantly, or he zero cages instantly. It's like Falcons literally won this series off thoughts and prayers, and the fact that their backline and DPS are just a bit better, aren't they? Just Hambin,
no weak links.
It really felt like he just did fucking nothing. What do you mean, no weak links? This guy pinning in right now is the weak link.
Yeah, but he got out weak linked by Mew when it mattered most,
Yeah, that's true. He got hard out weak linked by Mew. Apparently missing a cage, not as bad as missing a beat. And Mew was good to miss that beat in this exact moment.
Tragedy.
Fuck.
Yeah, I was, maybe the thing that surprised me even more than the Mauga was that it really felt like when we were, even before Mauga got nerfed and everything, we were kind of having a shift in meta where we saw a lot of teams start playing like D.Va, Pharah, Ana, and once people were playing D.Va, Pharah, Ana, the Mauga's lives just got too hard and people would swap off this comp. And I think we only saw maybe one example of it, and ironically, it was actually Falcons swapping to D.Va, Pharah versus Crazy Raccoon's Mauga in some sort of flip of roles. But I was really surprised we didn't see more Ana at this tournament, full stop. With like all the Winston that was being played, we saw very little Ana Brig. We saw no Ana really into the Mauga at all. And it just, I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, presumably somebody's tried this, or they were trying this in scrims, but I was really shocked that nobody had the answer here to Falcons, or at least attempted it, right? Like if you try it don't work, it is what it is. But I was surprised there wasn't more attempts from all the different teams that ran into it.
Yeah, I think Ana had just like fallen out of the meta a bit. We tried a fair amount of Ana in the boot camp, but we just weren't really finding much success with it compared to the other comps. Like the Lucio Carry was just like getting more value and stuff. And then maybe we should have played Ana against their Morga. But like we were kind of confident. Like we had versed their Morga like a fair amount in scrims, and like we didn't really think it was like that much of an issue to like have to swap our backline like completely and play the Ana comp. I don't know. Like it didn't seem like whenever we scrimmed Falcons that the Morga was like the big issue, it was like their fucking DPS or like their supports. Like Max said, like I don't think Morga was like the insane fucking thing that led them over the line. I think it was just like they have like world class players just like doing their thing,
I think that's also fair to say is they did also lose when people mirrored them on Mauga. They also did just lose it a bunch. Like they lost it to once again. They lost it to Crazy Raccoon. They only beat Crazy Raccoon when they swapped for the D.Va Pharah type stuff. So they couldn't win a Mauga mirror, but somehow they just seemed to force it all the way through, get themselves to a grand final.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they didn't just play like Hazard or something. If they don't want to mirror the Winston, surely Hambin's got a bit of a Hazard on him.
He's pretty derpy on that, I think. He's
getting
bad,
on,
mate. Yeah, he just was like definitely like one of the weaker Hazards out of all like the good Korean tanks for some reason. Just doesn't really have that doggy in him.
I feel like if you're just not going to have a Winston player, you have to like explore other avenues that are like good against Winston that aren't Morga now that he's just been gutted,
Yeah, apparently, he wasn't gutted enough to stop Falcons from getting top 2 at the tournament, forcing it half the time. But
it's just good for it.
Yeah, just good for it. I thought, I was so surprised to see a Mauga mirror on map 1. Like, The map one of the series.
I've
for
never seen
Alcad,
the
it was like,
tweets,
there's just no way. Yeah, everyone is like, I got messaged
No
recently
way,
of someone
Red
being
Morgan.
like, is Malga back? Like, is Malga really not dead? And I'm like, dude, I haven't seen Malga in weeks. We scrimmed versus Alcad playing Malga like once, and like we're just taking the fucking piss. Like, there's just no way. They beat us on the map, by the way. But I still refuse to believe it was good. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Shocking.
fucking funny. Just seeing all the fucking people complaining on Twitter after map 1 of the tournament.
Just
Fucking another
retards,
tournament
mate.
of
It's
Morgan
just
Mirror.
just fucking retards. Just all they want is they want upvotes on Reddit, and they think, oh, like I can't fathom it. You know, maybe we'll talk about it in Client of the Week, but I can't fathom why like Winston is your carry, where both Winstons are doing nothing but just doing like the softest jumps in the world and waiting for bubble timers, and it's just a full push-pull meta the same, but with a bubble instead of a guy with miniguns. How like the reaction of one is like, oh, like so honest Overwatch. I cringe so hard every time someone, normally from the fucking establishment, tweets about how good Zion Mirror, it's so honest Overwatch, or oh, it's so good to see dive comps. It just makes me want to blow my fucking brains out how stupid they all are. But I mean, you know, I don't feel that strongly about it though.
It feels like,
Sounds
it
like
does
you
feel
do.
like you don't feel particularly strongly about it, to be honest.
It's just it is what it is, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
He threatens to blow his brains out over the smallest
Yeah.
of things. So this
Little
is
did
this
they know
is
my-
really running.
it's-
This is the 8th time today this has happened.
Yeah, my tendencies, they're pretty strong anyway. So me wanting to blow my brains out, it is what it is, you know.
Just Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
I was gonna say, I was really shocked that Falcons managed to get this far, but also there is an element of, should I keep being shocked if it just always bloody happens? Like that we talked about the Lijiang Tower versus Nightmare. It's truly unwinnable. Proper spam perfect one shot. There's no way they lose this map 5 Esperanza against one single. There's no way they can win it. They've just managed to do it all of a sudden. Fuck. And then all of a sudden that, you know, I guess if you keep winning these big clutches, eventually you're going to find yourself in a final or two. But not enough to get it over Crazy Raccoon at the end.
I mean, cuFFa's probably right that like even if you come in with like a shitty meta read and it's not good for you, your team is just, you're still gonna win, you know? Like that DPS duo, like that's what I felt when I watched like the Nightmare versus Falcons. It's just their DPS they just win every duel, you know? Like their Sojin kills your Genji every time, their Genji kills your Sojin every time. And there was no amount of like tank swaps or whatever that is gonna like negate the Genji Sojin difference, you know? No offense, obviously, to your teammates, great guys and stuff. It's just, I think, it probably, if they have a shit meta read, they probably lose the grand finals to Crazy Raccoon. But there's almost no other team in the world which actually punish a bad meta read from them, you know? Like, as long as the DPS are playing the game with an actual mouse and keyboard, are probably good enough to win.
Yeah, I think the meta really favoured Crazy Raccoon as well. The fact that they can play so much Winston, and the fact that ball is viable on lots of the map. It felt like whenever you got into these map draft situations, that as soon as we got to like best of 5 or best of 7, the length of series was always going to cause Falcons more problems than it would Crazy Raccoon. Because every map type, Crazy Raccoon can find a ball map in there, whether it's Blizzard World, New Queen Street, or Ilias, or whatever, right? Even Saravasa. Or they just play the Winston, or they play like maps that are difficult for the Malga or what Falcons were trying to run. So it felt like eventually the map pool would just get away from Falcons. And I guess that is kind of what happened in the grand final, right? Like it was a little tit for tat, everyone winning their map pick, and then all of a sudden maybe ran out of some good options. I don't know if we should maybe talk about, I guess, for you guys see the drama, the map draft, the map selection stuff or band selection stuff that went on between Falcons and Crazy Raccoon. Yeah. There was a lot of back and forth between like Lip, Hambin, then Pavan got involved, 9K got involved, everyone got involved to clarify the issue. But I think if I've got it right, the TLDR is there was one situation after the lower bracket final, but before the grand final, where Crazy Raccoon were asked to submit their bans, and they said, we're not ready right now, we really want all the players here, can we have a bit more time? The admin said yes. Apparently Falcons did agree to this at the time, so everyone just went, yeah, you can have a time extension. It's before the grand final. You know, we're not even on stage yet, etc. All fine. And then there was another situation between map 4 and map 5. So tied up 2-2 right before we go to Esperanza, where we go to a slightly extended break because it's half time essentially. And then Falcons say the admin didn't tell them the ban phase had been picked. And then the next thing they know is, oh, you've not submitted your bans in time. We're going to pick a random map and side for you. And Falcons are like, obviously, oh, can you not? Can we not have our map pick? Really would like our map pick. Apparently there was some noise from Crazy Raccoon saying, well, they're supposed to have submitted it right now, right? From Falcons' point of view, they swear like the admin didn't tell them, then the admin comes over and it's like it's late. So it feels like Falcons thought they were going to have the 5-minute break and then we do our picks, rather than we'll do our picks and then we move on. So this caused like a little bit of tension. Though surprisingly enough, they pick a random map, the admins then. That's the punishment for being late. 8 maps available to pick from. Randomly settled, 1 in 8 chance on Esperanza. And it just so happens that's what Falcons wanted anyway. So I guess this is why you always keep gambling, because sometimes it just works out perfectly fine and you get the map you wanted anyway. So it seems like everything has been resolved now, as in like the teams have all sent clarifying statements and apologized if they've misled and all of this. It feels like the first situation before the series kind of is what it is, right? Like Crazy Raccoon asked for more time and everyone said thumbs up. It's the middle one that feels like it's more of an admin mistake, and maybe it wouldn't have changed the result, but it definitely would have affected the players if all this shit is happening during halftime of the grand final.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna like fuck with your mental a little bit. Just getting fucked over like that. I mean, it ended up being okay, but that's gotta like piss people off a little bit, you know. I think that it was lucky that they got Esper and that's what they wanted, but because like the map draft is so important versus Crazy Raccoon. Like, you have to pick Kings Row. You play fucking Blizzard World or Survasa. That's gonna fucking win those maps. You have to pick fucking Circuit Royale, or they're just gonna go root and dive, or fucking Junkertown and play ball or some shit. Like, you have to be like so careful with what you pick, especially when you can't even play half the comps that they can play. Yeah,
I feel too. This is one of the biggest problems with Korean culture. Okay, is they have this insane rivalry, and for the first fucking time, I see a bit of fucking heat, and they're tweeting each other back and forth, and you think, oh, we have an El Clasico. These guys are going to start to fight each other. And within 30 minutes, they've apologized. Oh, it was all my fault. I'm so sorry. They're such great guys. And it was fucking gone. The beef was squashed so maturely, handled it so well. But that's not what we want. Bastards. We want it to be like a lasting, we want it to be a lasting hatred, you know? And then next time they're not shaking hands, maybe they're fucking headbutting each other, or whatever we might hope from like a real rivalry. But no, it was just, you see, oh, Hanbin's calling out Lip. And then 20 minutes later, I take everything back. I'm so sorry. They're really good. It was none of their fault. It's fucking, ruined our chances of a rivalry. It would be good if they really hated each other, because they play so often. Yeah. Like none of this respectful shit. Nope, but alas.
Respectful shit.
It's boring.
That's not what we're here for,
Read the word amicable so much in everyone's statement. Everything was amicable by the end of it. There was no
I hate amicability.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's probably like it's a bit of a sour note that this would be shit in any match, right? If you have this situation at halftime with your bans and it's not been communicated to you about when you have it. But it feels, I think, particularly bad now halfway through the grand final. Such a big game, first major of the year, first event in China. The two teams that always clash head to head, and then there's all this sort of micro drama just from like something that should be as straightforward and as set a process as just the map selection.
Did Falcons? They didn't ban Winston once in the grand finals, right? Like that was
insane. That was insane.
Yeah, that was the only. I actually felt
no Winston, no Farah.
Yeah, I felt like most of the drafts this tournament, I think they were pretty fine actually. Like I didn't think there was like too much egregious shit, but I felt that was the one where I was like, I could have used it once, Like it feels like there must have been a timing because Winston was getting so much work done, like the entire event,
They just needed that Winston in the back pocket just in case, mate.
Yeah.
Because if anything, that's the only like, especially even the Esperanza pick, because obviously it like blocks the new Queen Street and Falcons do seem to keep winning Esperanza, but then you cast your mind back to that once again Esperanza win, and maybe it shouldn't translate exactly to as a feeling of confidence after that. So, because there is questions of why didn't they just go Lijiang Tower or something, block Ilios? Why didn't they go Circuit Royale first and block Root or something like this? I know they eventually lost Circuit Royale, but that was a fucking wild map. Anything could have happened there. So there's maybe some question marks of like, was Esperanza really the best pick? But I can still understand that as like, what do you play on New Queen Street against the Bull Comp if you're Falcons? Like, it's no fucking way you're getting away with a Malga on that map. You'd probably have to do the... It just feels really tough, So, I mean, there is some justification, but maybe like Lijiang or something does end up as a better option.
Yeah. Sometimes getting booped off the map in the first 5 seconds is actually really beneficial for your swap.
Oh, you guys swapped so quick because of that.
Yeah.
They better go any
I
upcharge.
got back before the point even unlocked. It was beautiful.
All part of a plan.
It was.
So then, I guess we should talk about Crazy Raccoon a little bit, because I can't remember exactly what we predicted last week, but I feel like most of us had Crazy Raccoon on top, winning the whole thing. Came to be in the end after Nightmare giving them the longer road, but Crazy Raccoon were happy to take that longer road and just eliminate everyone out, every region out of the tournament one by one. They got it done, but I don't know, it felt like deserved winners. I think really hard to argue when you beat Falcons, everyone. you smash once again on their best comp. You get the redemption, or they get the redemption against Nightmare. So I don't know. Felt like deserved winners. Felt this should have been a meta, a map pool, everything like this. That favoured them, and especially with bans, that they would always have more in the long run of the series. So I don't know. Yeah, felt like deserved winners.
Yeah,
they're just more flexible than everyone else. I think like
certainly helps.
They're the best players, and like they just don't have to worry about draft as much as any other team. Like they can just play like anything no matter the bans. Whereas like a lot of these teams
good as well, to be fair. Like even though they can just always rely on their flexibility, I think like a few of their bans, especially when they kept in this Brig ban on like Ilios or something, it's so hard to play against if they ban the Brig.
Yeah. I think like their draft like could have been a little bit better against us, but like everything else was like fine. Like really good. They were just good for it all tournament long.
Worth saying as well, after they lose to Nightmare and they have a result that really, I don't think anyone was expecting on that Crazy Raccoon side, they actually get it together immediately. And they don't lose for the rest of the day, right? There's a real world there where you have that really surprising, really shocking result. You're expecting maybe to play in this first best of 5, then have the whole day off, prepare for maybe Falcons in the final or something, or upper finals. Then your day changes completely. You've got to play on these tough series. All the things we talked about once again, right? About stamina and can they keep it going. Crazy Raccoon weren't phased at all by any of this.
Yeah, I saw like some translated tweet of like their like thoughts after the game, and apparently Keysane was saying like his confidence was like shattered after the loss, and like Jumpin was fucking tweaking. He had to like pull the team together. Yeah, like we definitely fucking rattled them. I think like after we lost to them, they're like doing the same thing I was doing. I was like, that was funny. I respect
was it
that.
Shu who did it? Shu's was piss poor compared to yours though.
Oh
like,
yeah,
he tried to do it. Yeah, like.
I told you I was gonna get up and give it to him. Like
you gave it to him, mate.
You made it good.
They just don't like. They probably never deal with like that. Like it's like such a culture difference. Like everyone's so like respectful. Like GG, well play. Like fucking handshake. Like you gotta fucking bring some fucking personality to the scene. Like Overwatch Esports is so fucking boring compared to every other fucking game. I swear. Because it's just ruled by the Eastern teams, and they just have no fucking like. There's no spice. Like imagine if that Crazy Raccoon's Falcons storyline actually turned into like proper drama, like a big rivalry. Like Overwatch just has it so wrong. Everyone's just fucking too nice.
And that's why
sometimes
we should
just gotta fucking get up in front of their face and fucking come here. You know?
But that's what like you watch fighting games are always a good example, especially because like the opponents are basically side by side as well. So when someone pops off, it's happening like right in the other guy's face. But I don't know if anyone's been watching any of IEM Melbourne for CS event. They're in the group stage right now, so they're just in the studio just in a studio, no crowd. What happens every time a team wins a round? Apex or Nico or one of the players is just up and just screaming at the other team across like a studio, you know? Like, I don't know. It just feels so much, even when there's no crowd or there's no atmosphere, and I'm sure it's all going to kick off at the weekend when Melbourne is, like, the stadium's fucking packed out. What's the clip they always play? Like, if you're not here, you ain't living. Come on, the boys. Like, they play that clip all the time. But even without the crowd carrying it, it's like the studio, even if it's just the studio, the players go off so hard. I think some of it is because they're at LAN all the time, right? So the players get more comfortable. They're more willing to sort of show a bit of personality and pop off in front of the crowd, which we never really get treated to in the West. We just get like the 3 LANs a year. But I imagine like if you saw what Korea have, where they have the weekly LANs, and that was for EMEA or North America, the vibe.
I'm fucking standing up there the whole time.
Yeah,
I think it definitely rattled them, like me standing up and fucking like after they C9, like you have to get in the head. How are you gonna fucking beat the Koreans if you're just being this fucking respectful, like, you know? You gotta give them some Western fucking grit.
Spice.
Yeah.
Some grit.
Knock them off their fucking
Grit all over them.
their podium.
Well, it happens in most sports, right?
Yeah.
Like, you think when like football teams are playing each other, that everyone who is like close enough to talk some shit to the other player isn't just talking mad shit to them all the time to try and wind them up or get in their head.
Yeah, that's like half a thing
right?
of like it's fucking mental games. Like you have to. That's just like what you do. Like in every normal sport, every other esport. Like Overwatch is just so boring, bro. Yeah, CS. Like I guess that's like a thing where like there's just not enough LANs to do it, but at the same time, like nobody really does it, and like half the time you'd get fined in Al if you did like anything. I don't know. I think you're right. Like it's created this, I guess, negative feel where everyone just plays it safe, right? Because nobody wants to mess around with getting in trouble. But I feel like it doesn't. It's like it's not real anymore. Like the threat's gone.
It is, mate.
You think
it's not gone? It's still there.
Really?
No. Well, I know.
They didn't say anything about. I mean, I wasn't like doing that.
No,
much,
I don't think the players popping off on stage. I think no issue.
That's good.
Who knows?
Fucking
who knows?
Make it a little bit entertaining. Don't be some fucking boring dogs all the time, you know. I mean, I could have been more aggressive, I guess. I was still.
You could have been more aggressive. I could have been more aggressive.
I love how this logic loop has taken you around of like.
It was my fault.
What if I answer? What if I answer?
Smack him, you know, like why?
Throw a chair at him next time.
No one else is doing it, you know. But
someone's got to spice it up.
Someone's got to do it. I think I could like you can get away with it a bit being like Australian as well. It's like a culture thing, you know. Yeah. Other people be like, oh, you know,
why
so
is he throwing that chair into the crowd? Oh, he's Australian.
Yeah, exactly.
You can get away with a lot as an Australian. Like genuinely, you can do whatever the fuck you want, and people will just be like, he's Aussie, so it's fine. But it's like, no, it's not fine. You can be so fucking rude to people, and it just gets dismissed as Aussie. So you should try it on next time, mate. Throw something at those players.
Yeah, maybe always throw something, but you know.
Why not?
Yeah, just say you don't have heart, mate. Just say you don't have heart.
If you had passion, you'd throw the chair, but what about it?
If I did the interview after the match, I would have said a few words, you know. I would have made it a bit more spicy than Zero trying to talk to like in like broken English on the thing, like thank you guys. You know, fucking bring some fucking grit to it, you know?
Excited for the Chinese translator to have to translate face fucked to the stadium.
Maybe not that far.
Any more thoughts on the tournament itself? Or we can maybe talk about a little bit, I guess, the experience at home. We had me and Chris watched at home. But any more thoughts on the tournament? Anything we feel like we've not covered?
I think we've done a good job, boys.
Yeah, I think so.
A little pat on the back. Good job, everyone.
Love patting ourselves on the back. Like.
Good fucking job.
Good job, team.
You fucking nailed it again. 36 episodes in a row. Chris, you've got in there and you fucking nailed it, mate. Let's go, baby. Podcast of the year.
But yeah, I guess one thing that's worth saying, actually great tournament, right? production, all the opening ceremony felt it was good for it. The games, the Overwatch delivered, got good variety in terms of all the comps and stuff. Production at home, for the most part, felt good. I think day one was the one that felt worst in terms of, wow, like we had like the big kickoff with the opening ceremony and stuff. It's where we had the longest breaks. It's probably where you guys in the arena as well. I think maybe it was your game, wasn't it, Max? That had like the long break for like tech issues and stuff. And there was a big audio desync for a large part of day one as well between, I think, the clean feed and what was actually happening, and then it also affected the mainstream as well. So it felt like day one we had a bunch of issues, but by day two, everything was fine, crisp and clear again. I think the only thing I'd say on like when we were having all these tech pauses on day one, I know there's an element of like, what the fuck can you do, right? Like it does feel like maybe in the modern day we're able to do these things right first time on the first day, but it's not an Overwatch only problem, right? It happens at other lands. Day one is a bit shit. It feels a bit worse for Overwatch because, we use this, the IEM Melbourne. If they have any tech issues on day one, it's the group stage of like 4 days, the first day of 4 days of groups. It's just in the studio and there's no crowd or anything. So any tech issues are fixed on day one. So by the time we get to the main event at the weekend where the arena's full and everyone's watching, they've had time to iron it out. But because we're such a small compact event, we have all these tech issues in fucking elimination games for like CC and SSG and the EMEA teams and stuff. The only thing I'd say as well, go on, mate.
I think that's like probably like the biggest issue of like the tournament. It's just like it's so short, it's like fucking 3 days of matches, it's over. Whereas like other esports, they have like weeks of like lead up, like group stage and all that stuff. It like reels a bit more people in, makes it last a bit longer,
They got money though, mate.
Yeah,
that's the difference in it.
There's no way to really,
Like if you're flying straight into China, but like you didn't do a boot camp and you play like 2 days later, you like got to get over fucking jet lag. You just traveled like 20 hours plus. Like it's pretty fucked. Like if you don't have a boot camp, you're at a huge disadvantage. Not like full stop because you don't boot camp, but you got to get over all the fucking travel shit. Like
that's why Team CC was so fucked at the tournament actually, because there was nobody to pay for their boot camps. They had so much jet lag flying from
they were jet lagged
to Hangzhou. It was actually.
I mean, they call it train lag because they got the train. But
get the fucking high speed rail.
Their trains are insane in China, by the way. They
are good for it.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I think is worth mentioning is when they have these sort of long breaks between the games. I understand some of it's tech pauses, so you can't predict it and that. But I think one of the things that made it feel worse is, I don't know if you were there for this bit, Chris, maybe on day one, but where a game would finish, they do a bit of wrap up with the desk, and then they'd sort of go, you go to the timer screen where it's like, we're back in 5 minutes, next game's on its way, blah, 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 blah. But then what would happen is they would do a 5-minute countdown, then we'd get maybe some of like the pre-recorded content, or just like the Freya trailer, the stadium trailer, maybe an interview with one of the teams or something. Then we go back to the desk, and then we go back to another timer, and we just sort of kept getting in this loop of like, we might have waited half an hour to a game, which I don't think is that unreasonable first day of LAN between series to get everyone on and off stage. But because you've shown me 4 separate 5-minute timers, I've just been fucking edged the entire time. You keep tricking me into starting it. Whereas I think a lot of other esports, when they go like, look, we're between games, we'll wrap up with the desk. We're going to go to break. Here are some adverts. Here are some pre-recorded stuff. There's a half-hour timer just in the corner. And maybe you might, some people just moan, fucking half an hour. But at least I know what to expect, right? Like I go, I've got time for food. I'll go away. And then, if trailers are playing or whatever, we'll come back to the desk. The desk will be on talking about the next game. Still got like 10-minute timer. And I think that just I think it's really hard to fix tech issues, as in stop tech issues happening and make them take less time. What you want is the break to just feel as good as possible in terms of the content you fill it with, and how, I guess, clear you are about how long the break's actually going to be.
Yeah.
Should we do what Uncoachable has never done before, and should we actually give some credit to the casters and stuff too? Because actually the hours and stuff that they had to do, it looks really fucking intense. Actually, not being able to go to the event, like having to. I know Zoe was like double shifting every night till like 4 a.m. and stuff, and it looked. I can't imagine like doing it at 4 a.m. I think it would be really tough. So. Shout out to the casters from Uncoachable.
Yeah, I think aside from like a few like little tech issues with the stream and all that, like everything ran really fucking well. Like the event was like a huge success. Like nobody can say that it was a poorly ran event or like those big issues. Like I think it was just like an amazing event. Everyone clutched up.
Shout out China.
They just do it
Shout
better.
out China. Shout out the casters.
Fucking hell, what a positive bunch we are, you know?
Turned over a new
China's
leaf,
really
mate.
brought out the best in all of us.
It has, you know.
Yeah. I wonder.
Don't even start. Don't even fucking start. Hepatitis.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, let me try and get us back on track here and back away from this positivity, because while all was happening in Hangzhou and everything was going swimmingly, there was a handful of dramas just from around the world in the background.
A little sprinkle of drama.
A little sprinkle of drama, you know? So, which one do you want to start with? I guess we can start with the Who Are You drama, and we can build up to the Taejong drama. So, the Who Are You drama... The Who Are You drama was, they wanted, obviously he signed for Genji, and then Genji were like, great, we're going to have him play our Saudi E-League team. And the admins were like, but there was a roster lock. So Genji went, come on though, can we play with Who Are You? And the admins went, yeah, go on then, why not? So they let him in. And then some of the other teams said, why have they just been allowed to add Who Are You to the roster? That doesn't seem very fair at all mid-tournament. And then the admins went, you're probably right. Let's get Who Are You out of there. Get him out of there. You can't play with anymore, Genji. Obviously, Genji are feeling a little bit like run around here at this point. And then I think eventually, for last I heard, Who Are You is now allowed to play again. But Genji have they've lost enough games that they can't really do anything, I think, at the tournament anymore. So there's really been Who Are You can play, Who Are You can't play, Who You can't play. And it feels like the admin decision is just whoever they talk to last gets what they want. Like, if you just speak to the admins last, it's actually very similar to Unter's coaching method with SSG, where whoever says the last thing, all the previous decisions and rulebooks will just be overturned in favour of that. I know it was written in the rules, but go on then. What's a roster lock between friends?
Did just to get this right, so the Genji partner with some sort of Saudi company, get all this money, get a facility in Saudi, purposely play Saudi E-Leagues, have Mag and Krusty and all these playing Saudi leagues, and just get dumped out anyway by nobles. Is that what's actually happened?
Yeah.
It's like Mag just been losing week on week in Saudi E-Leagues.
Checks out, doesn't it? Typical Mag, that.
The positivity's gone now. We're talking about Mag.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck Mag. Still as dog shit as you ever were, mate.
You can't stand him, man.
I feel like this is a pretty common theme with Saudi E-Leagues, just
there's no
always having
rules.
controversy with the rules and orgs not paying people and shit. It just seems pretty unserious.
They
from,
should do,
an outside
Drive
perspective.
to Survive, the Netflix show behind the scenes of F1. They need to do a Saudi E-Leagues one, but it's just a comedy, and it's just everything that could go wrong always just goes wrong. No one's getting paid. Every game is delayed by 4 hours. The rules are changing every week. Nobody knows what's happening. I'd watch it. It'd be good.
It'd be pretty entertaining, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I don't.
feel like
I
you just
enjoy
don't
it.
hear much good from this tournament. There's just always issues, always controversy.
Yeah, but money.
It's a
money,
shame
my
as
friend.
well, because the rosters are actually pretty stacked this year in terms of all the orgs and the imported players that are involved. So I remember way back when was this? It's not last December, but December before it, was it? When me and you, Chris, we covered one of the Saudi E-Leagues.
Oh yeah.
And we got Landon Checkmate and TVNT. It was maybe our first exposure to TVNT up against KSA and Twisted Minds. And it felt like there was two pretty good teams, and it feels like, in theory, this should lead to there being more good teams. But every time they get the players, they get the imports, and then it's just always overshadowed by
some sort of
just some
shit show.
drongo shit, really. Yeah. But one team now never let anyone overshadow them through getting into controversy is, of course, Vision Esports.
Shout
You
out
just
again.
can't. I don't know. Why always them, right? Why always them? So
Shout out to Game
Taejong went on Twitter and posted. This was after if you remember last week, we talked about their issues they ran into promotion, relegation, all of this. You might remember one of the issues they ran into is in that upper bracket semi-final, the game to put them in pole position to qualify back to OWCS. One of their players wasn't there, which is a classic problem to fall into. One of your players going missing at the crucial juncture. So initially we just thought, what a bunch of idiots. But no, maybe not incompetence. Maybe foul play was at hand. So I'll read you Taejong's statement. So obviously, I presume it's gone through a translator or through like a Google Translate or something, but he gets his point across. He said, I originally wanted to say this before the match today, but I was so mentally worn out and exhausted, so please excuse me writing about this now. Yesterday, we won the upper bracket 3-1 during OWCS relegation, but we had to forfeit a map and then went 0-3-0-3. cuFFa can sympathise, of course. I cannot talk about the details too much, but I believe I have to write about this to clear our names. I am fairly certain a player was deliberately throwing the relegation match and having to forfeit a map. A lot of us were frustrated and the comms felt different too. But the reason I'm saying it was deliberate was because he had some prior conflict with the team. He also threatened the team he was going to throw. Good work, Taejong. That's a red flag for sure. That's a red flag for sure.
And then he froze.
Oh my God, Watson! He done it.
He was good for it.
So yeah, threatened that he was going to throw and not play during relegation, as well as sending some cryptic messages to our team manager. So I don't know. Clearly they weren't quite able to solve him because he still managed to throw. This is why we felt like his actions were deliberate and intentional.
Well, the giveaway was when he threatened to throw. That was like there was very little cryptic about I will throw the game tomorrow.
He had me at the cryptic messages personally.
Can we decipher the code?
And then he says, I don't know why these unfortunate things keep happening to me. Why always me? I don't know, Taejong. Why always you? But I guess it is my weight to bear.
So Korean. So Korean.
He'll take responsibility. His teammates are literally throwing the game and throwing him under the bus, refusing to turn up to the match. But honestly, guys, this one's on me. I can do more.
His cross to bear, mate.
It's my time writing on a serious matter, but I felt like I needed to speak up, etc., etc. And then it's all I appreciate the support. We'll keep working hard in Saudi League. Hope to bring home a great result. It might be worth noting that since this tweet, Taejong is now looking for team.
God.
But I mean, I don't know. Why always Taejong? Why always Vision? I don't know.
Can I give a classic Chris zero empathy take here? Can I say Taejong is a massive fucking client for this? Because why are you you're so brave by calling out that a player is throwing? I'm sure he's throwing, but you're a fucking pussy because you don't put the name behind it. Either say nothing and take it, or say Simple was being a fucking ball bag and he was thrown. If it was Simple, that's where my money would go. But I didn't watch the game. I'm just throwing shit out for the sake of it. That's what we do. But if you're gonna make this fucking big statement, okay, and it's my weight to bear, what are you trying to do? Give sympathy? Just fucking put a name on it, mate. Just that cuFFa would put a name on this shit, okay? Yeah. You wouldn't be fucking hiding behind like, oh, I'm gonna release the truth. This guy threw your fucking game, mate. Why are you protecting him? Because you're scared of drama, mate. And that's, again, if you were Australian, Taejong, his name would be out there with grit, spoken with grit.
Yeah.
Say nothing or say it all, but this halfway bollocks. Taejong, you're the client in this situation, okay, mate? That's why he keeps throwing your games, because you're a fucking... Because you've got no fucking backbone, okay? If you called him out on Twitter day one, he's either kicked, you're kicked, or he's not throwing your games. But because you're just wishy-washying your way around this, he's going to keep throwing your games, and you're kicked off the team. So, sorry, mate.
One small counter-argument would be, Vision already had a problem with Imo getting kicked off the team, or getting banned. So they kind of couldn't afford anyone else to get kicked off the team before roster lock, or they'd be in a real pickle.
Wow. Doesn't change my mind.
I mean, I say a real pickle like they weren't also relegated, which I think would count as a real pickle.
They got pickled.
Yeah, old mate still needs a fucking spine is the takeaway here, so don't worry too much about that. We give a special shout out to Vision as well for having Skeng1 as their manager, because I mean that guy will go above and beyond in many different scenarios. I recently received a message from him. I was
Did you
I was
get
on
one
an
too?
I was
Wait,
on an
did you get
airplane
one?
on the way back from China. I think mine was different to what yours was,
Oh, okay.
and he was actually asking the team that just finished a LAN tournament to scrim today in like 2 hours. Which seems like super fucking reasonable to me.
Is that real?
Where it's like, yeah, I'm so serious. He
Right.
messaged me asking if we would scrim for a European team, a team with 2 Koreans coming back from the major right fucking now. I've been in Australia for 24 hours. Would we scrim Vision Esports? So you know what? I'll tell Kellen,
Nightmare Woods.
Minjay, wake up at fucking 4 a.m. Get up. No break for you. We're scrimming Vision right fucking now on 300 ping, baby. And it's like, it's people that have managers like that just go above and beyond in every circumstance to find the scrim that your team needs. I mean, you got to
cuFFa would
respect
say
it,
yes.
to be honest.
cuFFa would be scrimming. Right now,
Yeah, because
we cancelled
cuFFa's
the-
Yeah, but passion.
cuFFa's got passion.
I
But
do
you know
have
what
a
we've?
block today.
What do
I
we
do
have,
have a block
cuFFa? Tell me,
today.
what do we have?
You don't have passion.
Yeah,
got
we got aura and hype
Italian-
moments, but we got no
Italian BMT.
substance.
We've got grit and passion. That's what
We
people
have aura
lack.
and
you know?
hype moments. Like we're good for like one hype moment per series and like a book on stage, but we do also come 6th.
It was
Well,
a
at
funny
least you
book,
made
though.
it to China, you know.
Yeah,
It
it's
wa-
true.
you- I
Said people
haven't
in the
watched
book
back
did
any
not.
reactions. Was the reaction good to the book? Did they get a good shot of it on stream and stuff?
Yeah,
Oh,
they did
everyone
good.
loved the book. Everyone
Yeah,
loved the
book was.
book.
solid
Did you
book.
get any
I think-
messages from Danny Okasaurus?
Yeah, I think they
Nothing.
probably did like the book.
Radio silence from Danny and Casaurus.
Danny was on the co-stream. He was like,
Oh, what was
know,
he
like-
saying?
like laughed at it, but also like, fuck you type stuff, you know?
Fuming? Oh,
So like, I
hope
think
so.
they know is like, there's no clapback, and that doesn't result in the fact that they didn't qualify for the event immediately being brought up. You know,
Well,
like it's
they
a
got a
really,
team
it's
house
a
now.
really hard to swing back at.
Yeah, I mean,
They
they'll wait
got a
until
team
like we
house
don't
now, so
qualify
they should
for-
qualify for the next one.
They'll have like an eventual clapback when we don't qualify for something. it's just a slow.
They're just gonna be
decline.
waiting for that moment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's all right. I got like a lot of experience at blowing my load early, so I'm happy to go out after the first one.
It was the best line of the year anyway. So if they make
Exactly
the West ones
right.
and you don't, you know, it's just like, did you make
It's
China?
like-
No.
If they come to the other ones and they're like, "Oh, it was the best one ever," that's like, "Yeah, we didn't go to China, did you, buddy?" Like,
Oh, you should have seen how sick China was.
yeah, no, genuinely, you thought EWC was good. You should try it in a country where you can drink alcohol.
Shout out China again.
Shout out China, alcohol legal.
It was good alcohol as well. They do have some nice Chinese.
No, that Baiju stuff. No disrespect to the Chinese, but that Baiju stuff is absolutely fucking disgusting. I don't
Is
know
that the
how
one with the
anyone's
mint?
drinking that.
What
It's
is
like
it?
it's
Is that
like
the
that
whiskey?
traditional Chinese wine or something. Baiju.
Oh, I had this really good drink. The you know, like the main Chinese caster. His name's like Galaxy.
Okay.
Chen. It's always Chen in my mind.
No,
mate.
it wasn't Chen.
Like,
It,
it's a
wasn't
shame.
Chen. It was like
Yeah.
the front, like the main desk guy. I think his like English name is like Galaxy. It's like Ginga or something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was super nice, and he brought me like these Chinese drinks, like these 2 different ones that like he was like getting the bartender to make, and they were fucking good. Like they were good. One was like a mint one, and the other one was like a mixture of like vodka and like a fuck ton of other drinks. Those Chinese alcohol, those drinks were good, and it was
No,
free,
the-
so like it
The
tasted even
Baiju
better.
is the spirit, like the clear spirit that looks like vodka. But
Yeah, I think
Is it
it
the
had some
whiskey?
of that in the.
it's not a whiskey. It's a Chinese liquor.
Oh.
I don't know what it's derived from.
I was good for those drinks.
Sorghum, wheat, rice, or corn. I don't know. That shit hurts. It was like 53% the one we were drinking. It's just
Yeah.
like drinking rocket fuel. It's shocking. But yeah, you can't drink that in Saudi Arabia. I believe is a takeaway.
Did you get lamb skewers when you were there?
Of course,
They're so
Yeah.
fire, right? Did you
Oh,
get them
wait.
from like
Yeah.
the street vendors?
got them
I-
from multiple places.
Nice.
I had
bro.
lamb skewers in Korea. The food in Korea was fucking
Oh,
insane.
another cheers to that.
Cheers to
The
that.
ability to smoke cigarettes at the dinner table indoors in China. That was
Oh, mate,
that
they
was a
don't, honestly, they
throwback.
don't give a fuck.
That was
They
a-
honestly don't.
Oh, I'm well aware. Well aware. Well aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we went clubby in
Felt
Korea,
incredibly rude.
No,
we went clubby in
honestly.
Korea. Everybody and their mothers just got a fucking cigarette in their hand. Like, I think
But they
when
took
I
it
got home
outside
that
in Korea,
night,
you know?
I had to take all my clothes off. I just smelled it. I was like the most fucking putrid smell of cigarettes. I was like, fuck, I gotta wash these. Went down to the little
I'm still
laundromat.
coughing.
You would have hated my wedding, I'll tell you that much, mate. You would hate my wedding.
You got married in China, didn't you?
Mate, like in China, right? For weddings, you don't dress up for it. So we had like 200 people from like my wife's family's village, and they all just show up in street clothes, and they're all just fucking literally, and they're all just fucking smoking indoors as I'm like doing my wedding, you know. And it's insane. They're all just smoking everywhere, 24/7 inside.
You just can't get a cigarette out of their hands.
Nah, they just
Most countries in Asia, they're just good for it.
And they always gift each other cigarettes for presents and stuff, which is a nice thing to do. So it's like a cycle of smoking, you know?
Yeah.
Should we talk a little bit about the Esports World Cup, where we won't be allowed to drink? Because they had an announcement at the event about all the spots and the format and the prize pool. I think we made a new prize pool already. It's going to be $1 million again. But they announced all the spots. That was probably the interesting thing. We kind of touched on it earlier. Maybe the big thing, or the thing that people seem to be talking about most, is the fact that there's only two direct slots for Korea here. Obviously, they're going to get a little bit buffed by the fact that they won the major and they'll get a spot through that. There's also the last chance qualifier, which we sort of touched on earlier, as that tournament that will happen a few weeks before, with all the sort of the best teams that aren't already qualified essentially being flown out for a mini tournament. So I guess initial impressions about, like, it feels like we're getting something pretty akin to what we got last year in terms of scale and scope.
Yeah. I mean, I think people kicked off about it, but I think it's like a really fine decision. Like they took a gamble in theory. I mean, they could have just waited till the tournament was over and then make the decisions, but they took a gamble that Korea was going to win the tournament. But it's not really a gamble, you know? Like it's
pretty safe one, to be honest.
Yeah.
They were probably sweating when Nightmare won. When Nightmare won that game in the upper bracket, they were like, oh shit, we're going to give another 4 spots for North America.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think if you want to like have this discussion, I think realistically, instead of attacking the West, ironically, you need to say, well, China shouldn't get 3 spots because it seems like 2 and 3 from China are going to be considerably weaker. But I don't hate parity too much here. Like everybody seems like, you know, more or less we're going to get 3, presumably 4 teams from Korea and 3 from each other region, which probably seems about as fair as it'll go. And then I'm guessing we're going to get some sort of group stages, the same as what we got last time, and then we'll just get a single elim, like the same as we got last time. So
it'll be 14 groups, yeah. So
yeah,
obviously, I guess there's still seeding to be announced, so you can see exactly like how knows. Because I'm sure some groups are probably going to end up a little bit tougher than others, etc. But maybe some interesting to seeding, maybe particularly like say that last chance qualifier team is T1 or something, but the last chance qualifier gets seeded 16th because they were the last to qualify, and that might feel like
you really want to dodge that.
But that's all to be announced and stuff.
I think ZETA will be the team that goes to the LCQ. Surely T1 are way better than them now.
Yeah, I've got that, yeah.
Alpha U,
I think
main support.
ZETA's like mega downgraded, I think, and T1's like super upgraded.
Wait, who did ZETA get as the Violet replacement? Does it know?
Nobody. Yeah.
Alpha U.
I think Alpha U's just
Pelicans permanently on. Yeah.
Well, he's actually just going to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've just like lost all their chances of making top 2 in Korea, like ever qualifying.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they've actually like fully shot themselves in the foot and then the head and then the cock and then like I don't know, multiple
and T1
chest as well.
T1 are fucking good for it.
Yeah, T1's sick with this new backline. Like they've gotten rid of their weakest link and replaced it with someone that's like insanely strong on like Brig and Juno and stuff like that. I think, you know, I genuinely think if Alpha was there for like DPS, they'd be the best team in the world, or like they'd be like real solid contenders to be the best team in the world. If they could just replace the Viper's Est, then they'd be absolutely up there with Crazy Raccoon, and I think they'd be better than Falcon because of the versatility thing. Like Falcon has such a huge problem with pressing the H key right now. I think T1 would just be better.
Are we gonna? Well, I guess it's pointless to even talk about, but we're gonna do it anyway because that's what we do here. But like, I guess someone in Merit, it's their time of the season to see if they're gonna come back and play.
Has this been talked about? Like,
I've no clue. I haven't heard any. Like, genuinely, even behind the scenes, I've heard.
I only just like sort of found out what was going on when I was in Korea. Like, I had no clue. Like, I sort of had an idea, but like, I mean, they're just locked up.
Hashtag locked
Like
up.
Akon.
Hmm?
Oh, like Akon. Don't worry about it. You're too young.
He's definitely too young for that, man.
People in chat will get it. Well, surely some people know that song.
I think the
Drop a
EWC
100
like,
emoji in the comments if you got it.
I think like the slot distribution's okay. Like I think it's a little bit weird giving Japan and Pacific slots, but I mean, what Pacific,
I think
Japan, the Latin America slots, like those teams are just never gonna get through groups. Like
I think it really
Yeah.
makes sense to give Japan their own slot because Japan is actually like high key carrying the game. Like,
Yeah,
Japan
they
is
are.
by far the most
viewership-wise,
viewed.
yeah.
That is fair.
They'd have the biggest viewer base of all, even if the franchises that are carrying the game are actually full Korean rosters. I think giving Japan a slot makes sense. Having like one of each of these mixed slots.
Yeah, I think for me, in an ideal world, I would cut down on, say, like the Pacific, the Japanese, the Latin America slot to give better or like the higher caliber teams. And I think that would make a bet, again, like it's the major top 16 teams. Let's just send the top 16 teams in the world. Maybe use this last chance qualifier to push the Pacific and the Japanese teams into, right? So don't like take all chances away to qualify, but just give them a different route through. Obviously, they can even qualify directly through the Asia one as well if they can beat the Korean teams. But I do understand that in reality, a big, I guess, motivation behind the Esports World Cup is in part so they can get the Esports Olympics. And the best way to advertise you'll be able to host a good Esports Olympics is you want to be hosting a global event where you get countries from all regions, all nationalities, everything like that, and you get them all together. So I can understand how really my idea is probably more of just like an Overwatch purist of let's just get the best teams and throw them down. And I can see it doesn't really match up.
Yeah, I think in other games,
just good honest Overwatch. But yeah, so I sort of I understand why it's happening, even though like in reality, I think there would be a way to maybe like optimize it a little bit more for the Overwatch purists. But we're still going to get a good line, I think, out of it.
Yeah, in other games, it's like more of a better like roadmap for like smaller regions. Like they actually might punch up, but Overwatch is just like one of the few games where like they're just so far behind because like the lack of support in the last few years and like just nobody can you just can't like commit your entire life to it. Like there's just no money in it unless you're in like these NAEU, and even then you fucking have no money. Like what is it? Our roster Nightmare is like the most underpaid, or like the lowest paid roster at Champions Clash by like a significant margin outside of Team CC, but like they don't really count. Like, yeah, it's good to have like extra representation, and this is like the one tournament for it. Good to see some Australians as well there.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because like once you start going as well, when you say you start inviting the 4 from EMEA, the 4 from NA, the 5th from EMEA, the 5th from NA. Well, maybe some of these teams will be the last chance qualifier, but all of a sudden it's like, well, actually, all of a sudden these teams aren't going to be the teams that are going to threaten Korea or even threaten the top North American or top EMEA teams, So it's like, once you go up 16 teams wide, we're not going to get 16. Overwatch doesn't have 16 teams that are elite. So there's always going to be weaker teams there.
Yeah. If it's a big wide net, I feel like it could just be like a bunch of teams getting flown out to kind of experience the event, get their backs blown out by the Koreans in the LCQ and experience a bit of the country and experience a bit of the event, expanding the scope of the tournament itself.
Yeah, I like the idea as well, right? It's hype, right? In terms of, oh fuck, we're gonna fly a bunch of all the other mid teams or the teams that didn't quite make it, slam them all together into a LAN, and we're gonna play off at just one spot. Like it feels like it'll be intense and it'll be.
I think there's
should be quite
there's like
fun.
heaps of hype and pressure for the. T1 will.
Unless T1 just ruin everything and just win by a mile, which they might, or maybe even ZETA, but whoever, right? But on paper, there's like it's set up to be a fun sort of mini tournament before the main tournament.
Yeah, it'll definitely be good.
All right. Anything else? Any other drama news we kind of missed? I think
you got the Violet official leaving post. Did we cover that?
Oh yeah, we kind of touched on that anyway. With So ZETA announced officially that Violet was leaving. I guess maybe actually that reminds me. The only thing I did have a question marks is And when they say, we are sorry to inform you that Violet will be leaving the group as his contract has expired, I'm just calling bullshit.
Yeah.
Piss off. Violet's contract expires at the end of stage 1.
I'm gonna go with Violet's kicked.
Yeah, like, we signed a contract with Violet in the off-season to keep him at ZETA because we wanted to keep the whole squad together. And how long was that contract, ZETA?
We'll give you a month, mate.
3 months! 3 months! Don't want to give him more than 3 months, so yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a little spin on the truth here. Really surprised if his contract expired. Just happened to expire at the time. And also the fact that they have no plan, because if you knew Violet was leaving because his contract was expiring, right? You probably have a better plan than what if Alpha Yi just played Lucio for us, right?
You'd probably like
somebody lined up or something, you know?
Like let Maka, let Vigi, let all these guys like get snapped up, and then just be like, "You got that right, Alpha Yi."
Maka's not even. Like, Maka's a free agent, though. Like, wait.
Oh,
right. No, I just named a bunch of flex. I just named a bunch of flex supports when they need a main support. The main support market's actually like insanely dry.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like you could get away with like getting a second flex support instead of just making.
You're gonna put Alpha Yi in. You might as well get a support.
Yeah.
Like
you'll at least have some strengths from the start.
All right, so a pretty wide selection, I think, as we move into client of the week. We've obviously got the Taejong situation. We've got Taejong himself as the client. Probably the thrower as a client as well, mixed in there as well. Like trying to throw your team's games in promotion relegation, maybe not turning up to the first map of an important game, all be held against you. Maybe the Saudi E-League admins deserve a nomination as well for their for constantly changing rules about roster locks and not rosters locks. Was there anything else? Was there anything happen in Hangzhou?
Nothing in Hangzhou, but I think we had like a little bit of a client moment at Super Cup where our first map against T1, we were told that it was Lijiang? Like they wrote that it was Lijiang or something like that. Or maybe it was against Wei. Like they told us it was this map, so we did bans and then we load into the lobby and it's just not that map, it was a different one. And they were like, yeah, we told you it was this one. That was like the one thing where it was like a little bit weird because like we just used like a ball ban on like a certain map and then it was just like a map where ball was shit anyways. But that's like the only real thing we had there. Can't really think of any client of the weeks at Hangzhou.
We had the stage admin thing where we had no mixer and they literally couldn't understand our instructions or, just couldn't pass them along, I suppose. So they couldn't fix our volume balance during a very important elimination game. I guess that's a bit clienty, Maybe when you have a Western team on stage, make sure that the English is really good. The guy standing behind them that has like 100% of the responsibility to make sure that they can be ready for the game. That felt a bit clienty.
Any of the players or anything?
Not really.
Oh wait, I don't know if you can pull it up. I don't think you can pull it up if you can pull it up at the drop of a hat, Alpha. But they did artwork for all of the players, right? Which was a nice touch. But Dennis's Lethal's, like a few players did get done dirty. Like maybe cuFFa yourself. Your face was pretty flat in the artwork compared to real life. But the Lethal one seemed to really take the biscuit in terms of how they thought Lethal looked in his artwork here. He looked high as fuck, really derpy, and I don't know what happened there, because everyone else just seems to come out okay. But there was something about Lethal that, here we go, something about Lethal that just didn't seem to quite match. Quite match reality. The face of someone who's about to beat Crazy Raccoon.
It was good for it.
A face full of passion and grit. Where are we going then? I feel like, honestly, both the Saudi ones seem to climb to the top to me.
Yeah.
Either the fluctuating rules in Saudi E-League, or just the whole Taejong vision throwing situation.
Anyone that uses the words honest to describe a meta in Overwatch and then tweets about how nice it is. that's what I go for. If you do that, then yeah. Or Taejang.
Yeah, I think it has to be the Saudi E-League admins, to be honest. Like this whole idea of like, fine, he can play. Wait, no, he can't. Wait, no, he can again. You know, like it's just like a long. There's a real trend line here when it comes to Saudi E-League admins, you know? Sometimes they just replace the admins with an 8-year-old boy and say, let it rip, buddy. Like, it's just...
Get in there.
It's just... Yeah. It's just the Wild West over there. So I got to give it to the Saudi E-League's admins, to be honest, because it's just such an eternal piss take. Like, we're genuinely running out of piss in the Middle East. Like, it's just, come on now.
It's just everywhere.
All right. Wraps up. Client of the week. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. A special thank you, though, of course, to Red Eyes, one of our biggest supporters on Patreon. If you want to support us as much as Red Eyes, you can do that on our Patreon right now. The link will be below. Get full access to our Q&A that will be coming out in a week or so. And we'll see you there.
See you there, mate.